one critique about the show is, Fisk is soft now. They neutered this character. He's not the same character as he was before. This show takes place 5 or 6 years after the original. He shouldn't be the same like Fisk was a little reckless.
Yeah.
If you remember, a lot of the original show, he was in jail.
Right.
So if he's still doing the same shit, Chris, he's going to be in fucking jail, right?
Exactly.
Hard to be the mayor when you're in jail.
Yeah. Well, the thing about it is that, the wife is taking over now. Yep. That part of it. She's got a taste of that mob boss level of access. Yeah. Mm-hmm. He's trying to go to the top, to the mountaintop,
right?
Which will give him control over all of this stuff,
yeah.
Not just the little shit that she's thinking about.
Correct. Like, he's the chess player, dude. Give them some time. Like, it's 3 episodes.
Right.
Don't judge this. It's a fucking problem nowadays. Everyone's so ADHD.
Immediately.
Yeah. Like, it's not what it used to be.
No kidding.
There's another rumor that Marvel is right now trying to figure out a way to incorporate some of their animated characters in Avengers Doomsday. What do you think about these animated characters crossing over in live action?
I love that. I love when movies do that. It is a very Space Jam kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I'm a sucker for that.
Yeah. Which I love Space Jam. The original.
Yeah, original.
The LeBron James version. Like, that just shouldn't have been made. All right. Welcome to Only Comics. I'm Mike. This is Adrian.
What's up, man?
And this is Chris.
Good to see you guys.
What's up?
Good to see you guys again.
It's been a minute, dude.
Good morning.
Yes, Chris has been on more guest episodes than anyone else in Only Comics history.
That's it. Oh. Well, apparently I'm a guest too. Still, 2 years later.
Yeah, if you're a guest, then you've been on more shows than anyone. It was funny. Someone was like on TikTok. It was a few months ago, and they're like, "Why does he keep interviewing the same guy?" I'm like, "Hey, dumbass, we do this podcast together." Like, but it's just not everyone knows yet. So we're trying to get the word out on the comics. Yeah. Chris was actually on episode 1 back in the day, right?
Yep.
And why Chris is here today, we're gonna get into a little bit later. But you were on in the past for the first night, right? You self-published. You did everything.
I did.
You wrote it, you drew it, you colored it.
Right.
Yep.
Published it, sold it.
Yep.
So they can get that where can they go?
ChrisBoyleArt.com.
ChrisBoyleArt.com. It's a good story. We read the first chapter. Waiting for the second one, dude.
Yeah.
We need
it's
this.
Coming. Trust me. By the end of the year, we'll have some good news content.
Or you can go to the Library of Congress and get it.
Yeah.
I think that's a story that you probably don't tell as much, but I think it's an important story. So I would share that at some point too.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna get into that later. Good, Adrian, you're like a wealth of memories too. You did say that in the past. But we're going to get into, Chris is here for the ride. He's going to take a ride with us today and go down all the usual turns and wherever else this leads us to today. You never know. Because this is Only Comics, where we discuss comics and only comics.
And clearly other stuff.
And shout out to all the interns out there. You guys are members of Legion of Interns. So we got another podcast on Wednesdays, Chris, called Other Stuff. Because we got into too much other stuff here sometimes. So we had to separate.
Well, I won't say too much other stuff. Enough of the other stuff too that we needed to carve it out of.
That's right.
The Only Comics, because it was getting juicy, but it was the length and all this other kind of stuff. Length,
width, no Diddy.
I like the other stuff.
Yes, the other stuff's good. It's a lot of fun. But right now we're getting some comic stuff. So we kick this off still, Chris, with news and rumors. Avengers Secret Wars is a movie that is so far right now it's scheduled for 2027. So I don't know how much you've been keeping up with the whole MCU, but your boy Robert Downey Jr. is coming back. He's going to be Dr. Doom. Russo Brothers are back. They directed Captain America: Winter Soldier, Civil War, Infinity War, Endgame. They're going to direct Doomsday, which drops next year. Also, I actually saw a rumor that may be pushed back a little bit, a few months later in the year. So who knows?
Oh man, I hope other stuff doesn't get the Batman treatment, dude. Coming out in 2037 or something.
Yeah, exactly. That's some bad news.
That is some bad news.
The less we talk about that, the better I'm going to be today, because I get angry at when things like that are pushed back. But also, Avengers Secret Wars is going to kind of reboot the MCU. Supposedly, it's going to bring the Fantastic Four, the X-Men into this universe, into this timeline. But have you ever read the Secret Wars comics?
Yeah. Yep.
You did both of them?
Yeah. The first one.
The original. Yeah, so the Russo brothers are huge fans of the original. And a lot of people are wondering right now is which Secret Wars comic are they going to pull inspiration from for this movie? The way a lot of the MCU is shaping up right now, because you and I we read both of these recently, it seems like it's perfect for the 2015 version.
Correct.
Right?
Right. The Doom version of it, as opposed to the Beyonder version of it.
Correct. We have incursions starting to happen. Right. That's a big deal. So, but they asked the Russo brothers recently, they did an interview. Why they do interviews with everyone but us? You know what I mean? When are they going to show up here?
When you start seeing sponsorships like Dunkin' Donuts, things like that, maybe they'll show up after that.
Okay. But it wasn't us. Someone else interviewed them. And what they said was it's going to draw inspiration from both the original Secret Wars, and then I highly recommend the newer one. I actually like the newer one over the older one. Okay. The older one's a great story.
I'm of course I'm a fan of the original one.
Okay.
You know, that older age market, which I'm assuming the Russo brothers are too.
Yes.
Or they're somewhere between you and I.
Correct.
You know, in age and stuff. But they have to pull from both, because the original is the original.
Yeah.
But then you got this whole Doom arc to it.
Correct.
So you gotta, have, I would say, the majority of it come from the second one.
Right. So what they said was, we will always create our own version of the story, but we will use the comics as loose inspiration. You know, I grew up on the original run. That's something that got me into Marvel Comics. The Hickman run is also fantastic. They're very different from each other in a lot of ways, so we'll draw inspiration from both. Some big elements from the 80s Secret Wars comics that's when Spider-Man originally got the black suit. Right? He gets the symbiote when they're in Battle World, brings it back, which then leads to the introduction, the creation of Venom. Spider-Man 4 is set to be released in between Doomsday and Secret Wars.
Really?
Yes. Okay. So there was rumors that movie would take place in Battle World. Yeah. Which would be very unique.
Right.
I'd love that. If you're not going to go with the grounded Fisk, Daredevil kind of crossover story, I say have it take place in Battle World.
Sure. Why not?
You know, I mean, when both of these comics were released, they were Battle World comics that took place alongside, so you can easily have a movie. It would be a bold move with a Spider-Man movie, because your audience would have to kind of know what's going on, right? But I think for the most part, fans that are going out to watch these movies are watching everything. So.
Well, but you also got the displaced Venom movies that's going on too.
Yes.
What are you going to do with the little symbiote sperm that they left on the bar and all this other kind of bullshit? So you're going to have those interactions as well.
Speaking of, have you seen Venom 3?
No.
Okay.
No. Yeah, I skipped that one.
Yeah, that's probably a good move. It's probably a good move.
Yeah.
It wasn't even badly entertaining like the first two. It was just bad, in my opinion.
Yeah. It was just bad, dude. It's just nonsensical. The whole Vegas scene, whatever.
Yeah, at least the first two were entertainingly bad.
Yeah,
like you're big on a bad.
I'm
movie.
big on a bad entertaining movie.
Right.
Something along the lines of a Madam Web.
Yeah, there wasn't many redeeming qualities there.
Okay,
maybe the Eternals.
Yeah. Well, we got some. It's like you're looking ahead, Adrian. We got some Eternals news coming up, but we got more Avengers Doomsday Secret Wars. So remember the concept art that was released a few weeks ago?
Yep.
By one of the concept artists that worked at
Fantastic
Marvel.
Four stuff.
Yep, Fantastic Four, Secret Wars. You see any of this?
No.
So there was concept art released by one of the concept artists that worked at Marvel for Doomsday. Yeah. Where actually most of it looked like Secret Wars, and also some of it was Fantastic Four stuff. So the Russo brothers are denying that this is their concept art. Now, the art was received pretty well. Like we talked about it here, and you could see it drawing a lot of inspiration from the 2015 Secret Wars, and just the way everything was designed. It looked like I wanted to see the movie like the next day. You know, they asked them about this too. So again, in this interview that we didn't get, we really had to talk to the guys out there and get us. But anyways. He says that no, that artwork was not from Doomsday or Secret Wars. Nothing spoiling in there. That was not our concept art. He could be full of shit. He could be lying to try to throw us off. I mean, I do trust the Russo brothers more than most directors. Like if James Gunn was on this, I 50-50, you know?
Yeah, I would be. It would be disappointing if they're trying to be intentionally trying to be misleading.
Right.
However, it's like the Michael Jordan thing, right? It's like, everybody praises Michael Jordan. For every Michael Jordan, there's 10 other guys that never made it 10.
Yeah.
So there are artists out there that are amazing. I mean, I saw something last night with Doom and Reed Richards. I think was standing behind him or some shit.
Yeah.
I mean, the art looked great. It looked like a preview of something. But when you look at the views, it's a somebody in the basement made something. It only got like 100 and something thousand views versus the millions a typical preview would get. Right. That's how you know. But there are incredible artists. There's a bunch of talent that never makes it to the screen. So you can have somebody put something out here that looks like it could be,
very true,
but not actually.
True. Yeah. I guess the only thing that it's kind of odd that they're saying it's not theirs is the artist put it out on her own website. She signed it was her stuff, and then she took it down. And now no, it's not ours.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I'm gonna call bullshit on this. I'm hoping that is the art because it looked phenomenal. But to your point, someone else could do an amazing job as well. It was funny. They also asked them about how they keep track of kind of all the characters they're working with. Because you've written comics.
Yeah.
There's when you're dealing with as many characters as they have in these movies, I'd imagine it's hard to keep track of.
Yeah, I can't imagine. With this vast of a universe as they have.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Like your comic, the first night, how many characters are in that?
Yeah. That one's just doesn't have too many, but the whole story that it's part of, a ton.
Yeah.
A ton. Yeah.
Come on, guys, you're overcomplicating this. It's called a spreadsheet.
Okay.
That's how to keep track.
That's how you keep track. Well, here's how they keep track. So they used to use a baseball card method. Like they would just have a bunch of cards of all the characters in the movie laid out. And now they've evolved this, and this is what Anthony Russo said, into magnets. So they had a magnet with all the characters and they just throw them up on maybe the refrigerator or something, have it all laid out. But it's just interesting, when you think about most movies have, a lot of sideline characters, but you got the main character, you got the main villain, you got some supporting character, but these characters are not sidelined. They all have arcs in these stories. To manage, a couple dozen. In Infinity War, there's a lot of stuff going on. Yeah. And this is going to be even a lot more,
10, 15 years ago, when I first got into Apple computers, there was this software called mind mapping.
Yeah.
It was great. You basically, you put something on the screen, and then you can splinter off. It's like timelines.
Okay.
And so you can zoom in and out, so you can have you're Marvel or Disney, and your products are you have Marvel, you got Disney, you got this. You click on Marvel, and then you got all your properties your properties in Marvel, Fantastic Four, X-Men, so on and so forth. Click on Fantastic Four, and it just keeps splitting down, and you can go to infinite levels. And then of course you can it's like a family tree. Yeah. You click on it, it expands. You click on it again, it compresses back in. It's fantastic software. But I'm assuming they got something like that. Yeah. Magnus is bullshit.
It's cool to think about. They're in this room. They just got magnets of all the characters.
Right.
You're forgetting Spider-Man. All right.
Dude, you got a 50,000 foot warehouse. What you doing in there? We're putting magnets on the wall, dude.
No magnets come in? Must be fun, though. Another piece of Doomsday news. So Marvel right now, they got their live action movies. They've also been doing a lot in animation. I don't know if you've kept up, but
I've heard they were doing more.
Yeah. X-Men 97 was phenomenal. Mm-hmm. What If? I'm not a big fan of What If. It's what if you all just didn't make this like that? I'm not. But then you had your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, which this is phenomenal.
Yeah.
That is an example to me of something that fits that What If brand better than the What If show. This is what if something happened that we actually wanted to see.
Yeah, but you're not going to have the Spider-Mans if you don't have the What Ifs. It's simple as that. Yeah. You're not going to have Infinity Wars without, the shit that they've been doing, like Madam Web and stuff. You're going to have both of them.
Yeah.
You're not going to consistently, unless you're Venom, you're not going to consistently put something out that's bad.
Right.
And you're not going to consistently put out something that's good. So you're going to have some arcs here and there. Right. Except for, what was that show again? Venom, except for that one.
Yeah. So for every fudge brownie, there's bound to be a turd, And they look the same from a distance, So, but their animated shows, at least the last few, I think were phenomenal. In Across the Spider-Verse, we saw a little bit of the live action characters kind of pop up. Remember that scene when they're at the Spider Society and you got, what's his name? Childish Gambino, his character playing Prowler. Yep. And he's in this and he's captive, right?
All right.
So there's another rumor that Marvel is right now trying to figure out a way to incorporate some of their animated characters in Avengers Doomsday and have them kind of cross over and remain in their animated form, almost like a
Wait a minute.
like a Space Jam or
Didn't we talk about this like 6 months ago? I was like, it'd be cool, and I said like Across the Spider-Verse would be the perfect vehicle to have a cartoon character go over into a real live action movie,
Right.
Because they already got the live action person. I mean, of course they're gonna put the black guy in the fucking jail, around everybody else. But they're gonna have that. But that's the perfect vehicle. And now, so they won't let us interview them.
Nope.
But they steal all of our
listening,
shit.
They're watching, Chris. Yeah, this is what's gonna happen, dude. The bigger you get, the more they're gonna copy you.
Yeah,
and they're not gonna give you credit either.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Nope. I didn't get no production credit on any of these movies. Nope. Did you?
Come on.
we should start emailing them, honestly.
Send an angry email.
Yeah, we gotta get in contact with them.
Definitely. But what do you think about these animated characters crossing over in live action?
I love that. I love when movies do that. It is a very Space Jam kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I'm a sucker for that.
Yeah. Which I love Space Jam. The original.
Yeah, original.
The LeBron James version. That just shouldn't have been made. Yeah, your boy Don Cheadle in there. It was, dude, I couldn't get through it.
I didn't watch it, dude, because it just looked like, it was so bad. It was.
But yes, and I just hope they do it in like a scene or two that's not a very impactful scene in the movie, because
it'll take you out of it.
It'll
take you out of it.
They did it great in Into the Spider-Verse. It was quick.
Yes.
We saw a little interaction, but it wasn't like I don't want to see the Spider-Man from your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man fighting like somebody in live action. I'd cross paths some way while they're traveling through the multiverse. That would be cool. Right. But let's not make him like the supporting actor in the movie. The sidekick. Captain America: Brave New World. Have you seen this movie?
I have not. I've heard mixed reviews.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to tell you, in my opinion, it was good.
Okay.
It was. I wouldn't say it's like the best Marvel movie ever.
Mm-hmm. Conceptually, I loved it. I was looking forward to it.
I think it was really good.
So did I. Surprisingly.
Yeah.
To the point where I will no longer call him Captain Falcon. He is Captain America henceforth.
Yes. Nice. And it's funny though. It's really nice. It's almost to be expected. The backlash that this movie is getting, and I'll get in the comment. I'm not above getting in, messing around. And I've asked people, like, explain to me what's wrong with it, and they literally can't.
Yeah.
It's like, well, it just, I don't like that they spoiled Red Hulk in the trailer. I'm like, okay, that doesn't affect the quality of the movie, though.
Yeah.
You could.
It's just people that don't like the passing of the torch kind of thing.
I think that.
So, yeah.
I think it also has something to do with the fact that Anthony Mackie doesn't look like Chris Evans. I think there's some of that,
Of course.
I mean, always, right? Yep. But I'm not trying to be like just that guy, call racist on everything. But I do think there is a part of that, and that's why people can't fully accept it.
Right.
Because the critiques just don't make sense. Hey, you don't like the movie, but like, dude, explain, like, why didn't you? What didn't you like about it? And when you can't verbalize that, and I go, wait, something's off here.
I like this character a lot. I never saw the show. I didn't see the show, but I liked his character a lot in the movies.
Yeah.
I like that personality, and I thought their interaction was great.
Yeah.
So. Well, it's funny, nobody talking about that shitty rendition of the Hulk when they first came out.
Right.
But they're going to talk about this. Pretty much the most perfect rendition of a Hulk on live action.
Yes, was Red
And
Hulk.
then it's the best one, but they're gonna I didn't like how they made that Hulk. Come on, dude. Come on. That's not why you hate the movie.
Nope. And then people, it's because he's just like another Black Panther with the suit, because he's got a Wakandan suit that's vibranium, but the guy has not taken the super soldier serum.
Yeah.
So we need to give him something.
Right.
And they're like, well, how can he be that badass? Okay. Is Batman not a badass?
Right. Yeah.
Does Batman not go toe-to-toe with Superman at times? Daredevil's not a badass. Like, why is it okay for those two to be a badass?
Yeah.
But when Sam Wilson's a badass, now I can't believe it, Adrian.
All right, so I wasn't going to go down this, but later on, right? So we're going to get into this hidden gem, and this one kind of pissed me off.
Okay.
Not in the fire guy, Diablo.
Yep.
Not in a useless kind of a way.
Okay.
But this is completely different, because the more research you do, you start looking at different things, but then you start seeing trends, and we'll get into that later.
Right. But yeah, I highly recommend it. Reasons in the news though is it just crossed over 200 million domestically, and it's looking to end up somewhere around 400 million globally. Now, this is another thing. The people are arguing about I had this guy going back and forth with me trying to tell me that telling me what the movie's budget is, telling me what it needs to make to be profitable. A guy with 4 followers. I'm like, dude, just relax. Right. First of all, I don't even know who you are. Shut the fuck up.
Wait a minute, didn't Captain America do like 3 and some change?
The original Captain America was like 370.
Oh, so now that this is surpassing this, now it's even more of an issue. Okay, there's that too.
Correct. So the reported budget was 180 million. Okay, they did some reshoots, and then there was rumors out there that the budget was around 300 million. Marvel has never confirmed that. They said that number was not accurate. It was 180 million. So all I can go off of is what they're saying. Right. You can go, well, that's probably not what they meant. Okay, well, that don't hold up in court.
Right, yeah.
I saw you kill him. No, I don't think he did it. Okay, he's innocent. Like, we got him on camera. No, I don't think it was him.
Right.
It don't work that way.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just make shit up. So if I'm going off the $180 million budget, I'm going off everything I've learned from fucking Google, a film needs to gross 2 to maybe 3 times its budget to be profitable, right? Mm-hmm. I think it's 2 times you break even, 2.5 to 3, you're making some money. So this thing would have to get somewhere around 400 or 540 million. Mm-hmm. So it may not be the most profitable movie in the world. Mm-hmm. They're probably going to end up breaking even on this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But this is the first time that he plays Captain America in a movie.
Yeah.
So we can't judge it against like Infinity War or a Spider-Man movie.
No.
This is like
a whole different thing.
It's a brand new movie.
Different thing.
Right.
It's the foundation.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. You know, so to me, I said, even with the numbers last week, to me, that's a success.
Yeah.
For at this point in the MCU, where we are in the multiversal phase right now is the same spot as phase 1 of the Infinity Saga.
Yeah.
Those movies weren't doing $1 billion. They weren't even doing $500 million.
No, that's a really good point.
Right.
Really, really good point.
The Avengers was the first movie in that saga to hit $1 billion. Mm-hmm. And that was after a solo Cap movie, solo Iron Man, Hulk, Thor.
Yeah. People are forgetting this stuff takes time.
Right.
You know, you don't have it all tomorrow.
Correct.
You know, and I think that's the right way to do it, is the progressive thing.
Yep.
Well, but I mean, look at the audience.
Yeah.
America.
Yeah.
You know, fast food, microwaves.
Yeah.
You know, they want that gratification like yesterday.
Yes.
You know?
Yep. So, I am hearing these numbers. I call it a success, especially with like half of the country like wanting this thing to fail. Mm-hmm. And then forget about all the results. Again, it's an entertaining movie. Yeah. It's a step in the right direction. Mm. Harrison Ford took over that role as Thunderbolt Ross and absolutely killed it.
Mm.
So I didn't even know he was in that. So now I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a good movie. I mean, Harrison Ford's portrayal was good. And like we discussed when it first came out, and you'll see this if you watch the movie, I am so glad that they zoomed out on him when he reverted back from Hulk to human. Wow.
Ooh, yeah.
Please don't do any body shots.
But dude committed, like did a great job in that role. And then Anthony Mackie, dude, owned, like it felt like Captain America. Because we were the biggest, like, hey, Captain Falcon, all he is Falcon with a shield.
Yeah.
But he evolved that character, he's more of a mature character, right?
Did you just not want him to be like something else? Like you wanted like the Falcon to be its own kind of character?
That was always my thing, because there's so many characters that can portray different, you know, ethnicities, you know, male, female, so on and so forth. They don't need to, you know, basically fucking cross-dress a superhero. Right. You know, you got a Falcon, you got a Captain America. There's arcs for both of them, because once you start changing things up, gender swapping, race swapping, you change the whole dynamic of the character, the whole history, and all the supporting characters. Right. You change the Gordon Black, then everything else is different. You know, so on and so forth. So my big thing has always been there. Why do you have one person taking over these two pretty much critical roles?
Right. Yeah.
You know, you're mashing something into something that should not be. Now, it looks like this is a temporary gig, and then they're going to split him back out again, which I'm all for. So I was shitting on the fact of the merger, not that him being. I don't like the gender, the race swapping thing either, but he did knock it out the park.
Yeah,
and you can see it in his character. I always talk about Robert Downey Jr. He projects. You know, the chick that plays Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel, she does not project. Right. You know, she always looks like she doesn't want to be there, you know, even in the movie. I mean, how the hell do you do that? But anyway, Anthony Mackie, he projected that role. He projected that he looks in his eyes, he looks completely different than as Captain America than the Falcon.
Correct.
Interesting.
Yeah, dude, he owned it.
Yeah, definitely do go see it.
Yeah.
He owned that shit. Moving on. Are you a fan of Stranger Things?
I keep being told I gotta watch this thing.
It's good.
I've never seen it, but I've been told I would love it.
Yeah, it's a great story. You've seen most of few.
Yeah,
seasons?
I've seen first season definitely, but after that kind of trail off.
Got it. Sadie Sink. You probably do not know who Sadie Sink is. You know the name. No, she has been cast in Spider-Man 4. And actually, Adrian, go to the laptop shot real quick. We're getting fancy.
Is Sadie Sink
I'll show you right here. Look at this. Bam.
fancy.
That's Sadie Sink right there. Okay.
Oh, the black kid's girlfriend or whatever. At least in first season.
Oh yeah, so you've seen a few seasons.
Yeah.
She comes up, I think, the second season.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So here she is. All right. So that's Sadie Sink. All right, you can snap back to us.
Should have cast her as Jean Grey.
Well, if you remember, Adrian, last week or week before, there was a rumor that she was casted as Jean Grey. So that has not been confirmed, but they have actually confirmed that she's in Spider-Man 4. Now, could they cast her as Jean Grey and have her show up in Spider-Man 4? Possibly.
That would be a stretch.
That's a stretch.
That would be a stretch because you got like an X-Men, Spider-Man crossover.
Right.
And Jean and Spider-Man, I don't recall them ever crossing.
No.
You know?
But it could
happen, sure.
Now, what are the other options here? I mean, she looks like she can play Mary Jane.
Yeah.
The actual Mary Jane, right? We have Zendaya's version that is kind of, race swap, but character swap. That's not the MJ we're used to.
Correct.
So would it be odd if they introduced a more traditional MJ in that story? Because in the comics, doesn't he meet MJ later? Gwen Stacy is who he meets early on.
Yeah.
The movies kind of change it to where they meet in high school and they're next door neighbors and shit.
I do think that would be weird to
have another one.
Introduce her. Yeah.
It wouldn't be weird if they also took out Tom Holland. They would have to change them both.
Yeah. Well, we're not doing that. So
Yeah,
he's
I know.
definitely in this. The other now people have said things like Felicia Hardy, Black Cat, Gwen Stacy, she could play. Now, I mean, she's a redhead, but obviously Hollywood, you can change your hair color in 4 minutes. Acting wise, I think she could do any of those. But of all those characters, based on who she was in Stranger Things, like she ends up getting possessed and all this stuff. And a lot of like the visuals, I could see her being Jean, getting the Phoenix. So now, if it takes place in Battle World, is it that much of a stretch?
No, not at all.
They also didn't say she was starring.
Well, in Battle World, would she be a Jean Grey going in, or would she be like a Mary J kind of transforming into something else? I don't see that at all.
Okay.
But I think either Mary Jane or Jean Grey, she could play either one of them.
Right. Then there was a wild rumor that she could be from the future and be Peter Parker's daughter.
You'd have me on
Not
board.
with Zendaya Davis, whatever.
True, yeah. What'd you say?
You'd have me on board with that because that's leading into the Spider-Girl comics, and that unlocks some nostalgia for me.
Right.
Yeah.
That would make sense, but to your point, it wouldn't be
With this current current Mary Jane.
correct. Now, multiverse is a big part of Secret Wars.
Sure.
So it could be a Mary Jane from another universe. It could be a Peter Parker, Mary Jane daughter from another universe that somehow interacts. So,
I mean, we had Bishop is a result of Scott and Jean's clone.
Cable.
Yeah. Bishop. Wow, talking about
you're trying to race swap,
right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so she could be you could have an alternate version of a Mary Jane, right? And then have her show up.
Right.
That would work.
You know what though? I have a suggestion. Don't fucking tell us who she's playing until the movie comes out.
There you go.
Yeah.
Right? We know she's in it.
Yeah.
Let us be surprised for
Yeah, I
once.
don't need
Sure.
any of the casting thing. Just I see it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Surprise.
Another piece of Spider-Man news. Did you know, Chris, there's a Spider-Man Noir series in the works, live action, and your boy Nic Cage is going to be.
Really?
Yes. Now he does the voice in Spider-Verse.
Man, yeah.
But he's bringing that character to life in live action.
Better voice than live action than Superman.
Yes.
I'm just saying.
Yes. We don't know a lot about this. Here's what we know so far. Spider-Man Noir is an aging, down on his luck private investigator in 1930s New York who is forced to grapple with his past life as the city's one and only superhero.
That sounds like Nic Cage's real life.
Yeah, exactly. He's like perfect for this dude. Now, there's been a handful of these movies like Logan, like Zack Snyder's Justice League that were released in black and white, right? And some of them you're like, why?
Yeah.
Like Justice League was dark enough. Did we really have to remove the little bit of
right,
color that was in there?
Yeah.
You know,
Or Wolf by Night or whatever.
yeah, Werewolf by Night. It's like, dude, it's hard to watch. Like, there's a rumor that this show will be released in black and white. Now,
I think that'd be cool.
it fits.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Which you're normally against black and white.
No, I'm against any shitty movie. Period.
Okay.
And like I said, I couldn't get through Werewolf by Night because the intro scene where you saw nothing
Yeah.
and just heard some howling and fucking whatever, that was 30 minutes long, dude. I'm like, I'm checking out just on this part.
Yeah, it was slow build. But you think it'd be cool here?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It just fits. Noir stuff just fits. The look, the black and white just adds a little crispiness to
Correct.
it.
Yeah.
It better be raining the entire fucking time, right? You know, he better be chain smoking.
Shoot it up there with
cigarettes.
Edward in Seattle and shit.
Yeah. But dude, I think and if in the Spider-Verse movies, he's in black and white.
Yeah.
Like wherever he's at, he's in black and white, and it's almost like raining on him. Like
Right. Even in the multiverse Spider-Mans, the Noir version was in black and white, right?
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. So yeah, I'm all for that. And I mean they're filming this now, so they leaked some set photos and stuff.
Oh, nice. All right, cool.
Yeah, so I would assume probably in the next year or so.
I'm excited for that. It sounds really good.
Absolutely.
It sounds like a nice take on, a different take on.
Yeah.
Yeah, you ever read any Noir comics, Spider-Man Noir?
I have not. But because they introduced the multitude of Spider-Mans,
Right.
they can go anywhere.
Absolutely.
With the Across the Spider-Verse movie.
Yep. You notice I got the Daredevil stuff on, Adrian.
I did.
We're gonna talk
It looks
about-
very fetching.
It is fetching.
There's some nice caps, man.
Yeah, dude. Now, you can't buy these on the Only Comic Store, dude. I got these from some comic book website.
Okay.
But you have you seen the Daredevil show?
I have not.
Okay, we're gonna spoil some of it for you. So yeah.
I've had a few of it spoiled.
Okay.
It's all right. Yeah.
So we're like 10 years late. So
It's back, right?
it is back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
3 episodes so far. It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Now, you've never even seen the original.
No,
Netflix.
but it's the same people doing it.
Not really. So that show was a Netflix show. Jeff Loeb actually oversaw that show, and I don't know if he wrote it, but he was like this showrunner or whatnot. So the MCU have now taken that Daredevil character like fully into the MCU, and this is a Marvel Studios production. So it's not the same crew. And it is almost like a soft reboot, right, in a way, but the tone is there. It's very violent. It's odds going to a Disney app to watch shit like this. Not like
Right.
you know, I'm past it now, but when you really think about it, like, dude, Disney,
Yeah.
and my man's like bashing someone's face in the limo and shit. Like,
Right.
very violent, very adult. But it's like as much as you like Batman, you would fucking love this show.
Yeah.
You know, my boy Vinny D. You know Vincent D'Onofrio. He plays Kingpin, Wilson Fisk. People are. Reason I brought this up is this little news piece is funny, but really just wanted to talk about how his character evolves. So Kingpin in the comics, I mean, you're a Spider-Man guy. I know you know Kingpin.
Yeah.
You ever read Devil's Reign, where he becomes mayor?
No.
So they're pulling from that story a lot here. In that comic, Fisk is already mayor. He actually uses Kilgrave's power. I think his kids or his power to basically convince people to vote for him and things of that nature. And Kilgrave erased Kingpin's memory. He knew who Daredevil was, just like he does in the show. And then Kilgrave erased his memory, like made everybody forget. But Fisk remembers a little bit, so he's pissed. So he's after Daredevil, trying to figure out who he is.
Yeah.
In all this, he ends up making any type of being a vigilante using superpowers illegal. He puts together a team of police called the Thunderbolts, which are superheroes that agree to be on his side, and they go out and police anyone trying to use their powers. Yeah. Right? So they're pulling a lot from that. Fisk is now the mayor, and people are saying, this is the one critique about the show, is, Fisk is soft now. He's not, they neutered this character. He's not the same character as he was before. So somebody on Twitter their username was dumbass. Okay, so yeah, you already know where this is from.
You sure it's not Dumas?
It could be Dumas. Yes.
Is there a B in there?
There is a B.
Okay, then it's dumbass.
So he says, it sucked actually, and your character is pathetic. Because I guess Vinny D he retweeted something out about positive reviews, right? He says it sucked actually, and your character is pathetic and thoroughly ruined. So then Vinny D retweets it and says, "Thanks for the support, dumbass." His name was dumbass. But in a recent interview, he said, "Fisk is on a journey. He wants to expand his reach. He's going to get more control. He's going to be more dangerous. It's not going to be good for anybody." This show takes place 5 or 6 years after the original. Of course, the character should be evolved, right?
Yeah,
like he shouldn't be the same. Like Fisk was a little reckless.
Yeah.
If you remember, a lot of the original show, he was in jail.
Right.
So if he's still doing the same shit, Chris, he's going to be in fucking jail, right?
Exactly.
Hard to be the mayor when you're in jail.
Yeah.
Well, the thing about it is that, I mean, the wife is taking over now.
Yep.
That part of it. I'm actually going back down because I'm like, when did she become such a
savage?
She's a beast, man.
Right.
And she literally goes up against him like everything.
Correct.
But she's got a taste of that mob boss level of access.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He's trying to go to the top, to the mountaintop.
Right.
Which will give him control over all of this stuff.
Yeah.
Not just the little shit that she's thinking about.
Correct. Like, he's the chess player, dude.
Right.
He's setting up all these. He's, like, to your point, be the mayor, put all these laws in effect. 'Cause he's already kind of alluded to the no superhero shit.
Well, he's taking out his competition.
Yep.
So while he's climbing to the top, he's taking out his competition so that when he gets there, all these people are eliminated already.
Yep. Like, he's slow roasting this shit, dude.
Right.
They're trying to microwave this motherfucker.
Yep.
He's in there. He's slow roasting that brisket like you did last week. You know?
The second one.
The second one, yeah. Oh, by the way, dude, I did the prime rib.
Yeah.
It was fucking phenomenal. Dude. Made prime rib for the first time ever,
nice.
Chris.
Yeah.
It was phenomenal.
Yeah.
I went out yesterday because you put that in my head, man. And I was looking at the prime rib. I'm like, dude, I don't have that many people to eat all this shit. I mean, and them things are like, they start at like 180 and go up to like 3 and some change, 360.
Yep.
So I got like a tray that was already cut.
Yeah.
It's like 4 pieces and they're like this thick, dude.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm taking care of that shit.
I want to be on the
today.
episode of other stuff where you guys talk about steak.
Okay.
I can get in on that.
Yes, that's a good topic.
Yeah.
You can talk about that for a long time. But so Vinny D calls dumbass a dumbass. But I see what he's saying here in this interview, and it's like, dude, give them some time. Like, it's 3 episodes.
Right.
Don't judge this. It's a fucking problem nowadays. Everyone's so ADHD.
Immediately. Yeah.
Like, it's not what it used to be.
No kidding.
Yeah, but the
Neither
thing about it is that a person with a handle or a name like dumbass,
Yeah.
he's intentionally going out
Correct.
so that people can call him dumbass.
Right. Yeah.
Because that draws attention to
Yep.
him. That's all that is.
But it ain't just there are pockets of people, and I think they do it just for views.
Yeah.
Like, I will never do that. You're always going to get the truth from me here,
Right.
whether it's going to get me more views or not. I'm just going to tell you how I honestly feel.
Right.
You know, and I think that's why, at least why our interns love us so much,
Right.
you know.
Absolutely.
Some of these other people, like dumbass, not so much. But I love his response. Like, thanks for supporting dumbass. I'm interested. I'm bought into this show to see this journey. Like,
Absolutely.
There's still 6 more episodes, bro. Let them cook a little bit.
Right.
Also, you said like it's been 6 years since the
Yeah.
original.
Yeah.
Obviously, it should feel different. It
Correct.
should feel, your audience has aged.
Absolutely.
So I think the majority of your audience who loved the first show are looking for something different.
Correct.
Reminiscent of the other. They want you to build upon that.
Yeah, I don't want the same shit.
Exactly. I still think they should bring back the padding though.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he looks a
Fisk,
little small
He
up
lost
top.
a lot of weight, yeah.
So yeah, it looks kind of weird.
He doesn't look as menacing, you know. But because I guess the actor slimmed down, number one, and he's not wearing like a padded suit anymore either.
Right.
Because you're used to Fisk being massive, dude.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, one of my favorite things about Into the Spider-Verse is how ridiculously large
he is.
Yeah.
Like, it just doesn't even make sense.
Yeah. I mean, he was a big boy.
Yeah.
I mean, he went and studied in the early comics. He studied sumo wrestling.
Yeah.
Because people see that as fat. I remember a panel in Spider-Man where Spider-Man went to kick him and just bounced off his chest.
Yep.
I mean, there's a lot of muscle on that dude.
Right. Moving on to everybody's favorite movie, Adrian. This was announced, or we teased this a little bit earlier, The Eternals. Okay, so Gemma Chan, she played Sersi. I can't remember the fucking name.
Sersi is close enough.
Sersi, yeah, she played Sersi in this movie. She spoke to, again, interviewing, with other people, not us, but that's okay. They asked her about Eternals 2, and she said, "You never know. We're often the last people to find out. I don't know. I'm keeping the faith. I feel like there's unfinished business there, and there's more story to tell, but we'll see."
Right.
The business is finished there.
It's closed.
Did you see Eternals?
No, I was told not to.
Don't yet.
By everyone.
Yes.
I was told to skip that one.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's when you don't need to find out for yourself. It just is boring, dude. It was so fucking
And that's
boring.
the biggest thing I heard. It wasn't that it was, it wasn't even fun bad. There was just not much to have, to enjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But looking at, I don't know if it's Gemma or Gemma Chan. I'm just fucking that all up.
Yeah, you are.
I'm mesmerized by her beauty. We'll put it like that.
Yeah.
I'll watch her in anything.
Right.
You ever see the Asian movie about like millionaire Asians or whatever? She was in that too. She's fucking stunning.
Yeah.
I'm glad she showed up in something.
Absolutely.
But I mean, not that shitty run, but whatever.
No. Yeah, so you probably have unfinished business somewhere else. You don't have unfinished business with the Eternals. The business, let's consider it finished.
Yeah.
And move on.
Yeah.
But it did serve a purpose. We do see some of those plot lines kind of tied up in Brave New World. Like, since you don't need to see. The only thing you need to know about Eternals is there's a Celestial inside of Earth that fucking decided to wake up. Right? They stopped him, and his hand and his head sticking out of the I think the Indian Ocean.
Yeah.
And that becomes a major plot line for Brave New World because that's the source of adamantium right now.
Yeah.
So it led to something good.
Yeah.
But we didn't need fucking 3 hours of dog shit to lead to that.
Yeah.
Shit. You could have put that out on one of those specials on Disney Plus in black and white to save money, something. Dude, Eternals got you choking and shit over there. So anyways, that's the news. We're going to wrap up, Chris, like we always do here. Thumbs up, thumbs down. So go around the horn here, and I'll recap the news. We'll just let you know if we think it's a thumbs up or thumbs down. So, number one, Avengers Secret Wars will draw inspiration from both the original Secret Wars and the 2015 version written by Jonathan Hickman. Give that a thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
The Russo brothers say the concept art we saw a few weeks ago of Avengers Doomsday Secret Wars was not their concept art. I give that a thumbs down.
I would say thumbs up regardless, because it does a few things for me. But anyway, thumbs up.
All right.
I'll get a thumbs up. I mean, I'd hope it, if it's as good as you said it, and I'm gonna look at it afterwards. I'd hope they take a little bit of ownership. But I see maybe he's trying to throw you guys off.
I think he's trying to throw us off.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's where my thumbs up come in, dude.
Yeah.
Anyways, Avengers Doomsday rumored to feature characters from their animated shows in their animated form. Give that a thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Yep.
Let's just not get too Space Jamish, though. That's Captain America Brave New World crosses 200 million domestically, might end up over 400 million globally. I give us a thumbs up, dude.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up. I'm rooting for him.
Yep. It's like a lot of people are not, and I thought it was a decent movie. Doesn't deserve most of the hate.
Right.
We have no idea who she's playing yet, but Sadie Sink has been confirmed for Spider-Man 4. I give that a thumbs up.
A thumbs down on that because they should at least tell you who she's playing.
Oh, you want to know?
I want to know. I mean, all this. I mean, she could be the fucking meter maid for all you know, and you never even see her. It's
Well,
just a waste
somebody
of talent.
tweeted out a joke, her with a picture of Uncle Ben from the comics, and it says Sadie Sink has been casted as Uncle Ben, and she actually put
There
it
you
on
go.
her story to mess with people.
Sure.
You should pull it off. Yeah.
What do you think? Thumbs up, thumbs down?
I support it. Yeah, I'm not familiar with her, but I'm glad she's finding work.
There you
Positive
go.
spin on it. Yeah. Spider-Man Noir series starring everybody's favorite Superman actor, Nic Cage, may be released in black and white. I say thumbs up. Let's do it.
Thumbs up.
Absolutely. Thumbs up on the whole thing.
Yeah, Noir don't need no color, Vinny D calls a dumbass fan a dumbass for being a dumbass. Yeah, thumbs
There you
up.
go.
Yeah.
Thumbs up.
Support that.
We're positive across the board almost today. And last but not least, Eternal star Gemma Chan says there's unfinished business for Sersi and the rest of the Eternals in the MCU. He gives a thumbs down. The business is finished.
Thumbs down.
Yep.
That sounds like a threat.
It
There's
does
unfinished
sound-
business.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, exactly.
What the hell? All right, moving on. That's thumbs up, thumbs down. We have a new segment here, Chris, called Did They Cook? So I don't know how in tune. Now you're younger than us, so that this term may resonate with you. Do you know what that term means? Somebody who cooked.
Kind of. I kind of go by context clues.
Okay.
As to what it can mean.
What's your best guess?
They're doing something good.
Yes.
Are they working?
Yeah,
they're working. Doing something.
They're doing a good job. Yeah.
Let this man cook.
Yes. So here we used to have a segment called Hit or Miss Cast. It's been so long, I almost forgot.
Right.
Hit or Miss Cast, right? Yeah. And then I would ask Adrian if this character was a hit or miss in that role. And we would normally start talking more about their portrayals, right? So it was like, wait, it's not the casting. Did they cook in these roles? So you're a big Batman guy. We're going to put a little twist on it today. So I'm going to show you 5 Batman actors from the past. And I'm going to ask, did they cook as Bruce Wayne, as Batman, both or neither? It's a little complicated, right? So
sounds lengthy.
Sounds lengthy, yes. It could be a mouthful, no diddy. All right, so, and we're going to flip to the laptop shot in between. So are you ready?
Let's do it.
Number 1, Christian Bale.
All right.
Did he cook as Batman?
Cooked.
Chris?
I'm going to say he cooked.
Cooked? Yeah. Did he cook as both?
I think he cooked as both.
Yes.
You think cooked as both?
Yep.
I'm going to say cooked as Bruce. Because just the voice has just aged so terribly, so bad. But he wasn't a bad Batman, but I put him lower on the list.
Yeah, Bale rules. I love that
big
guy.
Oh
guy.
yeah. See.
Yep. I think Heath Ledger carried, bro. I think he carried, you know. But I mean, it was great films. I don't dislike his Batman. It's just not as high on him as most people. But I loved his Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
I think he did a phenomenal job at that. So, all right, next up. Ben Affleck.
We both took the breathe in.
I'm gonna say he cooked as both. I think
I don't think he cooked as both.
Okay.
I mean, I think
did he cook as either?
I think his Bruce Wayne is better than his Batman.
Okay.
Chris?
I think I would agree. I think I would agree his Bruce Wayne is better than his Batman.
Yeah. Okay.
His Batman, the hang up is he immediately wanted to kill people. That was a bit of an issue. Now, I like.
I'm gonna blame that on Zack Snyder.
Yeah, I do like the draws from The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Or Dark Knight Returns. That I'm a fan of, but I would agree. I think his Bruce Wayne was
Okay.
more of shine to his role.
I like his. I like the Bat costume.
Yeah.
You mentioned drawn from Dark Knight.
Yeah.
You know,
and I won't forgive them for messing it up. Because visually, it's the perfect Batman.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
Visually.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, next up, Michael Keaton. Did he cook as Batman, Bruce Wayne, both or neither?
There's no gray areas in here, so I would say he cooked in both for what it was, when it was, as opposed to not.
Got it.
Now, fast forward to the Flash.
Oh God,
not so much in either.
No,
you know,
I'm gonna say he cooked as Batman, not as Bruce Wayne. I didn't like his Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, I wasn't too big of a fan of his Bruce Wayne either.
Yeah,
I was just kind of silly, but to your point, it was what it needed to be at the time.
Right.
I mean, I think both of them were silly for what it was, you know. But then again, it was when it was.
Yeah.
All right. So you're saying cook both. You're saying
more Batman.
Cook
Batman. But I enjoyed it as a whole.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, great movie. I mean, Batman Returns is one of my favorite movies. Period. It's a Christmas movie. We've determined
compared
that.
Compared to other Batmans, though.
Sure.
I have to give it to
yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Number 4. Your boy Adam was speaking of silly Adam West.
Cooked.
He cooked, dude.
Both.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Why is the camera on me? No, he cooked. I think he cooked on both.
Yeah.
Even though he got the little pin up there keeping his cape.
Dude, it's hysterical looking back on it now. But
dog.
Yeah.
My favorite is when they're like climbing up the building. You know, it's like it's turn the camera like
Awesome.
Hey,
it's great.
It worked though.
It did work. Do practical effects. And then last but not least,
Val Kilmer.
Nope. Pattinson.
Wait a minute. What happened to Val Kilmer, man? You should have put Val Kilmer in there.
Val Kilmer, Pattinson, come on.
I guess you got to have a top 5. You got to exclude somebody.
You got to put the number 1 Batman in there. He cooked.
Pattinson, huh?
Yep. As both or neither? I say he cooked as both.
Of course you do.
Yes.
I'll say he cooked as both.
Okay.
For a year 2 Batman.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
about you, Chris?
I think more so his Batman than his Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
His Bruce Wayne is kind of like an emo kid, kind of like me when I was a kid.
Right.
Well, I mean, but being year 2, I think it was good.
It was appropriate.
Because he wasn't interested in being a Bruce Wayne.
That's true.
He was more interested in being the Batman.
Yeah.
And he
Correct.
pretty much rejected all that other stuff. Anything that was stopping him from being in costume, he didn't want anything to do with the meetings, the board, Lucius, none of that.
I think for me, like his Batman and his Bruce Wayne to that point were the same person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it
Exactly.
was very much so the same person outside of the mask than he was in. So
Right.
I think for the Bruce Wayne character, I'd give it a little more to like Bale. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would put Bale's Bruce Wayne over his, but but to your point, for that
yes.
period,
Yep.
it makes sense.
Absolutely.
Year
And
2,
And I think that's why people always say that Bruce Wayne is the mask, because he had to learn to be Bruce Wayne.
Right.
You know?
I think it's the biggest difference between him and Tony Stark. Like, Tony Stark is Tony Stark.
Right.
Iron Man's a suit he puts on to go play around, but he is Tony Stark.
Correct.
Batman, to your point, he had to create that persona of Bruce Wayne. He wanted nothing to do with being Bruce Wayne. He wanted to just live in the shadows and kick people's asses at night.
Right. It's funny. I read we did Hidden Gem on him. I think it was him or Alfred. I think it was Alfred.
Yeah.
Did a Hidden Gem on Alfred. And Alfred, Bruce, talking about learning to be a Bruce Wayne, Alfred had to pay people to laugh at his jokes when he said stuff, right? To the point where he thought he was actually funny, but he wasn't.
Right.
It was Alfred paying people to kind of like build that Bruce Wayne persona. That's how much he had to put, how much work he had to put into doing that, building that mask.
Right. Alfred's the man, bro.
Yep.
Alfred's the
Alfred is
beast.
the man. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you did a hidden gem on like Batman supporting characters once. Yeah, that was cool because you don't realize. Well, you do kind of, but Batman gets a lot of credit as he should. But the team around him is a huge part. Yeah,
some of the best characters.
dude, he's all DC has, unfortunately.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, they have guys like Superman, people like that, but who the fuck wants to see him?
Right.
You know, but dude, you think about how many different actors have played Batman already, you know, and we're about to get another one in the DCU. I don't know if you've heard this, but there was a time where they were talking about Pattinson being the DCU's Batman, which I'm 100% against. Yeah. Keep him in that Matt Reeves dark universe. Like, I want the DCU to succeed. I hope this Superman movie does well. And I want them to eventually get to this Brave and the Bold. Have you heard anything about the Brave and the Bold movie?
No, I heard when it was originally announced. I haven't heard anything since.
So no real progress, but it's supposed to be an older Batman, established Bat family, and it's going to pull from the, I think it's the Morrison run with Damian, where he, it finds out he has a son. Which I'm all for that. Like, that's why I don't want y'all to take Pattinson and bring, like, leave him where he's at. Let's get someone a little bit older. Right. Someone that it makes sense for him to have a 10, 12-year-old son or whatever, you know. So I'm all for that.
And I think that's why, what's his face? The new Reacher guy.
Oh, Alan Richardson.
Yeah. He would do, because he has that older, he has the chiseled jaw, the big frame. Has that more mature look on his face. He does some quirky shit in Reacher, but still, he's got that bulk about him. Yeah. And again, that guy. Now that the question was asked last week, would this guy play Bane? Yeah. Now I keep looking at him, man. It's like, Richardson is like what, probably 6'2" or something like that, 6 foot. Yeah. And he's at the shoulder of this other dude that's in the show. Yeah. This dude is massive, dude. That's the Bane that we should see.
Right. Absolutely. I think it's time we see a big ass Batman on screen. Yeah. I mean, Christian Bale and Ben Affleck were probably the closest we got to that, right? Yeah.
Ben Affleck definitely was the closest.
He bulked up.
Massive Batman.
Yeah. And even in the suit, it had like more padding to kind of look more like the comic Batman. But dude, Alan Richardson, he'd be like The Rock. You don't need padding in that.
Exactly.
You can put him in the Adam West suit, dude. I mean, fuck it, right?
Yep.
But I think it's time we see that giant, massive Batman that, if I get in a fight with this dude, it's going to be a fucking problem.
Exactly. Exactly.
You know? And we're going to get into Daredevil Born Again in a little bit, but one of the reasons I highly recommend it, especially to you, is he's almost like, he has a lot in common with Batman, but it's almost like a what if Batman was broke type shit. Like, he grew up in Hell's Kitchen. His father was killed, mother was gone, and he was like an orphan pretty much, but a poor orphan. Right. and he can't see. So he's like Batman without the money, without the tech, but he still has a team around him, and his goals and his missions are very similar to Batman.
Right.
He don't mind bending the law. He don't kill, but he'll break your fucking arm, your leg, put you in a coma for 6 weeks. Like, I won't kill you, but I will literally handicap you.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's right up your alley. But we're going to get into, I actually got a special guest joining us today. So we're going to get into your book a little bit, Chris. So you were on here in the past. You wrote your comic book, First Night. Actually, some of our fans bought a copy.
Yes,
so if you want to check
did.
that out, go to chrisboyleart.com.
chrisboyleart.com.
It's a great story. But I have a special guest with me today. This is Adrianna. Hello.
Hi.
You say hi to everyone? What are you here to do today?
Talk about 2 things.
2 things. What's the first thing?
The book Aldo.
Yeah.
Oh.
You read it?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
Yeah.
Yeah. How many times did you read it?
2 times.
2 times. Chris, what inspired you to write a children's? You don't have kids?
I don't have kids.
No. What inspired you to write a children's book?
I loved them growing up. I read kids' books all the time.
Yeah.
I had kids' books read to me. I would always beg my mom for them.
Yeah.
I was always a big artwork guy, so the illustration work in kids' book was a big draw for me. And I wanted to make something that would sit with a kid for a while. I still remember these characters of these books that I read when I was a kid. So
What was some of your favorite kids' books?
My favorite kids' book ever is a book called 10 Little Mummies.
Okay.
And it was a accounting book. And the illustrations were simple. It was easy to follow. And I bought another copy, a hardcover copy, like recently as an adult. Because it's something that sticks in your head. You know, I've always been a cartoon fan. And I wanted to make a character that was simple and lovable.
Yeah.
That would stay with a reader for a while.
Got it. Yeah. So when was it first a goal of yours to make a kids book? You did the comic book first, which was a lot of work, right?
Yep.
And then at what point did you go, you know, I want to do a kids book?
They were kind of done in tandem with each other.
Yeah. Okay.
The comic book came before the kids book, but when I thought about the kids book, it was one of those things that you obsess over and you can't stop working on. So probably about, I think I finished it up 2023.
Yeah.
2022, 2023. And then it's just been sitting on it for a couple of years until it was the right time.
Yeah.
I wanted to get the comic book out there first. I wanted to kind of introduce myself as that and then work on the kids publishing after the fact. Because I want to build on Aldo, so I wanted to make sure I released it in a very strategic, perfect way.
Okay. We had an advanced copy here, Adrianna, you and I. You read this to me a few nights ago, right? And then you read it again today. So tell everybody, what is the book about?
It's about a crow.
Yeah.
And he gets lost in a storm.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a bat that helps him find his family.
Yeah. It's a good story, right? You liked it? What was your favorite part?
When he thought that the scarecrow could talk to him.
And then he was scared of the scarecrow, and he was a crow. My favorite part was hearing you do the voices of the crow. What does the crow say?
Caw.
That was my favorite part. It's caused all the bags, she's reading all that. But it was a fun book. You liked it. So did Chris do a good job?
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Do you think he should go to your school and read the book? Yeah? Because you've been to some schools now reading the book, right?
Yep, I've been going around trying to learn how to read my own book.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough to like read a book aloud. I never thought about how much of a skill set that is and how much of a practice it is to come up with voices for crows and all. So all this stuff I'm trying to perfect. So I've been visiting schools and libraries, and I've been very fortunate that the book has been well received by everyone in the community.
What age group or what grade level is it kind of geared towards?
It's geared towards elementary.
Yeah.
But I was surprised at how many adults really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed reading it for what it is.
Yeah.
It's a simple, short story. But it has some staying power. I think it's a refreshing take.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was easy to read too.
Yes.
Yeah. Like it was easy for you to read, baby? Yeah. Do you have a favorite page?
scarecrow.
The Scarecrow. Why don't you pull up the Scarecrow and show everybody? What made you pick crows, bats? Like, and I love the style too. It's like simple art.
Yeah.
Like, you know, not a lot of different colors that kind of bounce
I wanted
off.
to try to make something that is usually pretty dark.
Yeah.
And make it lighter and more endearing for children.
Yeah.
So crows and nighttime, I wanted to take that, which is typically has a negative connotation, and
Right.
kind of make that softer.
What do you got there? Go ahead, turn it around. Show everybody. Lift it up a little bit. That's your favorite right there, the Scarecrow. And there he is. Aldo's scared. He tried to talk to the Scarecrow, wouldn't talk
I
to
thought
him.
it was a man.
That was funny.
How would you say squawk, Mike? How would you say
Squawk. Squawk. You do it. How you do squawk?
Quack.
That's good.
That's good.
That's really good.
Yeah. Maybe you should go with Chris and help read the
Yeah.
book. Yeah. So we're going to see if we can get him at your school reading the book. What do you think? Mm-hmm. Yeah? You think your teacher will like that? Mm-hmm. We'll find out. Well, Chris, this is available on Kickstarter today.
It's available on Kickstarter today. If you go to Chris Boyle Art on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, everything Chris Boyle Art, there's all links that lead to Aldo on Kickstarter.
Yep.
The last day to order on Kickstarter is Wednesday.
Okay.
So that'll finish up there. And then from there, it'll be available on my website and on Amazon.
Which is chrisboyleart.com.
chrisboyleart.com.
So this coming Wednesday. So it's Monday if y'all are watching this when it first drops. But if it's Wednesday, you can go to Amazon. You can go to Chris Boyle Art to order it. If it's before Wednesday, you can get it on Kickstarter.
Yep.
Great, fun book. I mean, it's quick, easy read. And I just love the way it looks. So I think one of the reasons I would assume why a lot of adults like it, it's a fun story, but it looks cool.
Thank you.
The job, like what you said, trying to take something that's dark and kind of make it not as, I guess, frightening in a way, you definitely accomplished that.
Yeah, there was something about trying to keep a limited color palette.
Yes.
That I thought maybe I could soften up some of those dark, hard lines.
Right.
And you and I are comic book fans,
Yes.
so the book is made in heavy ink,
Yeah.
kind of utilizing that style that I already had.
Right.
And
I almost see some Tim Sale influence in there, Chris, a little bit.
Yeah, and I would say there was some inspiration drawn from that. It was trying to take how to simplify something as complex as like a bird form.
Yeah.
How do you make that an easily digestible art style? It was
Yeah.
a challenge. It was a challenge, but
Yeah.
really, really happy with the result and looking forward to everywhere it's going after.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations, guys.
Thank
Go
you.
out, check out my man's website, his book, his comic book. Chris will be back. He's always back, right?
I'm always back.
Adrianna, tell everybody why they should buy this book.
Because it's the best book ever.
Is it?
Thank
All
you so
right.
much. Thank you.
We're going to talk about something else while you're here, Adrianna. So, did you know that Moana 2 is on streaming now?
No,
No?
no.
We saw this in the theaters, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you like it?
I loved it.
You loved it, for real?
Mm-hmm. It's better than Moana 1. The first Moana.
Oh, Adrianna, come on. You know one thing that Dad does on the show is called Agree to Disagree, right?
Uh-huh.
I think we're going to have to do that. What do you think?
There's the button.
It's right here. Yeah, no, you can't have it. So, you didn't know it was on streaming, though?
No.
Well, it's on. Are you going to watch it again?
No,
Well, it wasn't that good then.
it wasn't.
Okay. It wasn't now? Well, we're going to test that because I don't know if you're messing with me. We went. Have you seen Moana or Moana?
have.
You have.
I have,
Have you
yes.
seen the second one?
I have not. No,
Okay.
I loved the first Moana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first one was great.
Yeah, it was very fun.
Yep.
Very fun.
And I think because the first one was great is partly why I'm not a fan of the second one. It's like
Really?
some things I think don't need a sequel.
What did you
know?
think of the music?
In the first one, phenomenal.
Yeah, the rock song gets me every
Oh, I
time.
love it.
Sing
You're
it
welcome.
every day.
You
But
like
when we had the Inside Out 2 podcast, that was better
Yeah?
than Moana.
Oh, yeah. Inside Out. You seen Inside Out?
Yes. Yep.
The second one as
I
well?
haven't seen the second one.
Second one's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you say it's better than the first?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Because it like gives you more detail, I feel like.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of new emotions too, right?
Like it gets better and better
Yeah.
and better.
It was really good. I would say it's on par with the first one.
Yeah.
Like it's not a letdown at all.
What's your favorite Pixar movie?
Inside Out too.
Really?
Inside Out too?
Wow.
Really?
Wow.
Okay. Moana, but yeah, Moana 2, I was not crazy about. It felt like a forced sequel for a cash grab.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
all right, so we're gonna do agree to disagree, Adrianna.
Wait, was Moana 2 3D?
We saw it in 3D. Yeah,
I thought that was cool.
that was cool. Yeah, it was cool in 3D. They've done a lot with 3D. At first, it was
I haven't
like a
seen
waste.
3D in a long time. Yeah. Is it worthwhile?
It is now.
Yeah.
Like I saw Captain America: Brave New World. I saw it regular with I think me and your brother went, Jordan, just us two. And then me and my wife went and we saw it in 3D.
Yeah.
And it was great.
Yeah.
They do a lot with there's a lot of behind the screen 3D now. Yeah. When it first came out, it was like a gimmick. It was a few things popping out of the screen.
Right, yeah.
But now they do so much with that depth where you can see into, and it's like subtle things that make a big
Interesting.
difference.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'd say if you're going to see something twice, see it in
3D. Right,
see,
right, yeah.
I wouldn't say only see them in 3D, but Moana 2, the animated films are great in 3D.
Yeah.
So, all right, are you ready, Adrianna? Mm-hmm. We're gonna do agree to disagree. You know how this works?
Yeah.
How's it work?
You ask the question
Yep.
and we have to agree or disagree.
You tell me if you agree or disagree. Okay. Are you ready? Mm-hmm. Number 1, Moana 2 is not as good as the first Moana.
Disagree.
Okay. Frozen 2 is not as good as the first Frozen.
Agree.
Agree. Frozen 2 is better than Moana 2.
Disagree.
Inside Out 2 is not as good as Inside Out 1.
Wait, what?
Inside Out 2 is not as good as the first Inside Out.
Disagree.
Disagree.
I think it's better than
Okay.
the first one.
Inside Out 2 is better than Moana 2.
Agree.
You agree to that one?
Uh-huh.
You sure?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Inside Out 2 is better than Frozen 2.
Agree.
Agree. Okay. And Only Comics is better than all of those.
Agree.
Yes, that's right. That's right. You did a good job on agree to disagree.
Mm-hmm.
Even though you were wrong about a lot of them. It's okay. And last one, I'm the best dad in the world.
Agree.
Agree. Good job. Anything else you want to say to all the people on Only Comics today?
Subscribe.
Subscribe.
Better subscribe.
You better subscribe. Who's your favorite superhero?
Dad.
Dad? That's the best answer.
That is the best
That is
answer.
the best
That is
answer.
the best answer.
Yes. Well, Adrianna, thanks for coming out and hanging out with us
Adrianna,
today.
thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You should want to read the book.
Yeah.
You do, for real?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Is that all right, Chris? Should read the book here?
Yeah, absolutely.
No spoilers? Well,
Absolutely.
all right.
The night was calm and the moon shined bright and yellow. High above the sleeping town there was a flock of noisy crows. They squawked, they cawed together every night on their favorite wire, but this night was very extra chatty. Caw, caw. Even Aldo the littlest one joined in. Caw, caw. Caw, caw. The flock was so loud and so chatty they didn't even notice the rumbling clouds rolling in. Caw, caw.
It does that so well.
Right.
And it started to rain. Aldo's flock quickly flew away to look for shelter. Aldo strayed behind, and the powerful storm knocked him out of the sky. Down, down, down he fell, and then plop, he fell into the river. He waited for the storm to pass, and then he got onto the shore. He looked around and suddenly realized he was all alone. He wandered around the forest for a while to look for his family. Soon he came across a man standing in the field and decided to ask him for help. Aldo tried to ask the man if he had seen his flock, but Aldo got scared and ran off. The man didn't seem to like crows very much. Squawk! Aldo hid in a patch of tall grass and he cried. He missed his flock very much. He was very scared of being alone. He worried he would never find them. Why are you crying? Said a voice. Aldo turned around to see the voice belong a tiny bat. Oh, my
Quick shots
name
you
is.
get for free.
My name is Aldo. It's dark and I am lost. I can't find my flock. Who are you? He said. My name is Twinkle, said the bat. I can help you find your flock. But how? Said Aldo. Twinkle's ears perked up and she replied, bats have a special way to see at night. Come on, Twinkle said, follow me. Together the pair flew up high into the sky, into the night sky, and Twinkle listened very closely, although still couldn't see well, but decided to follow his new friend. Soon Twinkle heard something coming from way across the field. Hey, Aldo, she said, I hear something. It sounds like caw. Twinkle, Aldo cried out in excitement. That was a caw. I heard it too. That must be my flock. Caw, caw. Aldo was so excited that he flew ahead of his new friend, soaring through the sky. He followed the caws to the old barn window and then caw, Aldo.
You have to do that when you read it now, Chris.
Yeah.
Aldo found his
do all
flock.
that.
He hugged his parents tightly and introduced his new friend. Mom, Dad, he said, this is my friend Twinkle. She can see in the dark. After that night, Aldo wasn't so scared of being away from his flock. Squeeze! Caw! He knew he would always have Twinkle to help him see through the dark. The end.
Adrianna, you did absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
That was incredible. Incredible. Thank you so much. And you read that amazingly. Wow.
Here you go, Chris.
No, this is for you guys. This is for
Oh,
you
that's
guys.
for us.
Yeah, you get another one. You get a bookmark.
You get another one. Look at that. What do you say?
Thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah, thanks,
Thank
dude.
you. Thank you so much.
Well, Chris, congratulations on the book. It's
Thank you.
awesome. Guys,
Thank
you
you,
know
Mike.
where to go. Buy the book. Support my friend here. If you have kids, we have a lot of working class people who watch this podcast. I wonder how many parents we have. So I guess we'll find out. Adrianna, thanks for coming in. I love you.
Me too.
You did a great job. What, are you getting up right in the middle of the show? Say bye to everyone.
Bye.
You'll be back again sometime.
I hope so.
I hope so too. Well, thank you. And we're gonna move on to we're gonna get Adrian back in here. We're talking about some Daredevil episode 3. That's the family friendly part of the show. So now we're gonna get into Daredevil Born Again, Adrian. Not so family friendly.
Not so family friendly.
Complete opposite of family friendly, right? We talked about the first 2 episodes last week, and Chris, we're gonna spoil a lot of shit for you. So
Okay,
it's
I'm
just
ready.
kind of virtue
ready.
of being here with us.
Yeah.
You're gonna get things spoiled.
I'm on the ground floor.
Yeah, you are. But you know what's funny? You haven't seen any of it, so anything we're talking about now, if you do eventually watch Daredevil,
Yeah.
you don't even know what the fuck we're talking
Right,
about.
yeah.
You know, because it's so far after. But this episode, dude, a lot of shit happened in this.
Right.
First of all, before we get into specifics of what's happening, how do you feel about the kind of slow burn that this season kind of like? We had a lot happen in the first few minutes of the first episode, but I feel like Daredevil's always been that kind of slow burn show, right? Like it builds, and then something big happens in the last episode.
Right.
I like that. How do you feel about that?
I'm used to it now.
Yeah.
After, the hiatus, and then coming back, and then the first two, I was like, oh man, this is kind of slow. But the second half of the second show, kind of revitalized things for me. And then this show, it's a lot of courtroom drama. I mean, they are lawyers,
right?
But it's kind of predictable.
Okay.
To some degree also.
Yeah.
But I'm okay with the slow burn. Your original question, how do you feel about it? I'm okay with the slow burn.
Okay. Next question. This episode, how do you feel about the episode overall?
I thought it was good. I thought it was well executed.
Yeah.
Again, the predictability at the end, because
what part was predictable for you?
Him dying at the end.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
one thing I really like, and I give them credit for having the balls to do this, is I don't know if you remember this. You might, Chris. The Punisher logo has been adopted by, let's say, crooked cops. Right?
Yeah.
You remember this?
I remember it was adopted by a few different organizations.
Yes.
Yeah. It wasn't just the cops. It's firemen. It's different military groups. So it's different people.
Yes. In ways that contradict what that character stands for. I think is. Like, that's the problem, like, us nerds have, right? Like, the average guy's like, oh, Skull fucking kill people. Yeah, it's great.
Right.
But we're like, dude, that's not, like, Punisher he would actually kill you motherfuckers. Like, you'd be on his list. The ones using the Punisher flag and all that shit, he'd be like, all right, you're next. Your motherfucking ass is next. Like, so it's odd. But what I love about this show already is they are not shying away from that.
Right. I don't understand how an organization like cops, right, could have service members. I don't want to say service members because service members more geared toward military, right? Yeah. How can they have employees basically wearing these? Don't they see more than one or two people wearing these things?
Right.
One dude, when he leaned over, he had it on his neck, got it on his wrist. I mean, an observing captain would see this stuff and be like, hey, what's going on here? Unless you're involved in it yourself.
Correct.
Which is most of the case.
Yeah. So to give you a little bit of context, Chris, Punisher was featured in the Daredevil show originally. Yep. And, I don't know if you know how much you know about his origin, but family killed by mobsters, right? And he's on this trail like, as anyone would. I'm like, the question was Magneto right? Was Punisher right? You're goddamn right he was.
Right.
Mobsters killed my whole family, and it's just me left. Dude, it's on and popping, bro. I'm going out fucking AKs blazing. Fuck it, But he's a badass military guy, so he can do it in a way where, he's taking out everybody, right? He's kind of, and we saw him just kind of like sunset in season 2. He helped Daredevil on the roof, and then he bounced. Yeah. Because he's a fugitive. He's wanted. Right. And now we see the cops adopting this, the crooked cops. Like you said, the guy has his logo tattooed on his neck. We've seen it on the arms. And after all these years, the police in New York are still corrupt. Right. Fisk is not the one. He kind of is, but they're just corrupt cops in general. So we see them adopting this, and we're at this point now in the show where Matt Murdock has given up being Daredevil because there's some things that happened in the first episode. He's like, enough. And obviously, you talk about predictability, it's going to lead to him becoming Daredevil again. We just needed that catalyst, which I think what happened in this episode is going to be that catalyst.
Sure. The catalyst for him giving up the Daredevil mantle was him killing somebody.
Yeah.
So he crossed his no killing rule.
Right.
So
or attempting to.
Right, because the guy survived. Well, he thought that he did. In his mind, he still killed the guy.
Right.
Because that was his intent when he pushed him off the roof, right? But now you get to a situation where, it just does not stop, Why you keep killing black people? Why you keep doing this bullshit? Right? It's just the justice system in his mind, I think you're right.
Yeah.
It's not working.
Right.
Something needs to happen, and he's going to be that force that happens.
Yeah. So we see Hector Ayala, who is White Tiger in the comics. Okay. He has an amulet that gives him powers. Pretty much. I don't know a whole lot about it, but he's not a superpowered individual, almost like a Blue Beetle in a way, not physically attached to him, but when he puts this thing on, he has these superpowers.
It's more like a Moon Knight, I think.
Yes, very similar to Moon Knight.
Without the psychosis.
Correct, yeah, not the 20 different personalities. But he's a vigilante. He's, similar to Daredevil, right? He's out there fighting crime on his own.
Clearly not bulletproof.
No, absolutely not. He gets caught up when he's is not in costume. He sees a couple guys, looks like they're trying to mug someone.
Correct.
2 dudes are like harassing this one guy. He's in the subway. the vigilante in him's like, dude, I can't let this go. He kind of gets involved, breaks it up, fight ensues, and then we end up finding after the fact these were cops, corrupt cops.
Right.
Really,
Harassing a CI.
informant, yeah.
And
Harassing some informant, and then one of them in this fight trips and falls right into an oncoming train.
Yeah.
And Hector is now being charged for this. Right. So,
well, you're skipping why he's being charged. Not because the cop kills, it's because the other two cops not wanting people to know that they were down to meet the CI.
Correct.
Basically frames him.
Yes.
Saying that he came down.
Attacked them.
They identified themselves as cops. He attacked them anyway, and then pushed this other cop in front of the train, which was absolutely not the case.
Right.
But the CI ran from the scene. He left the scene.
Correct.
Say he was a drug addict, basically, which is how he actually got caught by them, right? And then Matt went and saved his life.
Yep.
Because they were going to come and kill him because they didn't want him to testify. Then, in return, he gets up on stage and shits on them.
Right.
And so now there's all this other shit ensues.
Right. Yeah, they're literally trying to kill the witness. Matt gets him there. Then right on the stand, he's like, "Nope, that didn't happen." Like and that was the whole case was relying on this,
Correct.
right? And then Matt ended up having to out Hector as White Tiger because no one knew his identity.
Right.
So his thing was like, the only shot we have is to actually let everybody know you're this vigilante.
Correct.
And you're doing all these things for good. So so they would not believe you'd possibly go down the subway and start fighting random cops, right?
Right.
So he did. It worked.
Yeah.
He got off.
Well, but the big thing, I think the big reason that he got off was because most of the reports that he brought up in court were documents from other police saying that they helped him from dying, from helping other people, for whatever. So there were police reports with the White Tiger helping them save people and even saving themselves, which I think turned everything.
Absolutely. Yeah, because the same ones that are going, hey, he killed our friend, he did this, we're out for him, are the same ones going, no, he helped me.
Right.
And they got all these signed reports and paperwork, so it worked against them. Mm-hmm. And this is like, talking about the slow burn, the way this was built up, the tension, the thinking this guy's going to get killed, is he really going to make it to the court? It was just done so well.
Right.
You're talking about from writings, people that have critiqued this show, some stupid ass critiques, I don't see it. It ain't perfect, but dude, it's a solid fucking show.
The only question I have, and I don't prejudge. Well, I do prejudge movies, but I didn't go into this looking for the things that don't make sense.
Yeah.
The math, not mathing. The only question that popped up in my head is this cop was just on the fucking thing. How did he get out of the courtroom, get on a motorcycle, go chase down this van? Mm-hmm. Remember, because he was a motorcycle cop that stopped him,
right? And
went look for, because they did this double cross thing to get the witness there, the CI.
Yeah.
They made it look like he was being put. Here we go. Made him look like he was being put in a black van, right? When he was actually being put in a car. And so the same cop that was just on the, maybe it was a different day. But anyway, the cop that was on the stand with the black eye, he followed them to try to basically take this witness out before he even got to got to the courtroom.
Yeah.
So that was the only question I had. So maybe I'm thinking about it now. Maybe it's just 2 different days when he was up on the stand versus when he went out, because that would just seem quick to me.
Yeah, it was a little tomfoolery happening there, But hey, all in all, it's a comic book show. What do you expect? But then the big moment in this, which you kind of talked about a little bit, Adrian, he ain't bulletproof. Right. Now, part of him winning this case, Matt told him, you gotta give up being White Tiger, bro.
Yep.
Now, Matt's someone who's at this moment has given up Daredevil. He's Matt Murdock now. He's not Daredevil. Which one of the things I would point out that's great about this show is Daredevil's a great character, and so is Matt Murdock.
Correct.
Matt Murdock is an interesting character. Mm-hmm. He's conflicted. He's this kind of back and forth of good, evil. Yeah. He's gone through a lot of shit. He's lost a lot of people permanently and some just severed relationships. He's gone through a shit fucking storm.
Right.
And he's a badass lawyer. Mm-hmm. And just all around, Charlie Cox is great. Mm-hmm. But he's a dynamic, intriguing character.
Yep.
Without the Daredevil costume. Mm-hmm. Right? And we see right after the case, dude, Now, did we see his face or did we just see somebody in the suit? Because I'm wondering, is there a little more trickery here than we're thinking?
No, we saw him suit up.
Yep.
And then he goes out, and then somebody.
But he was like mid-suiting up. Like, we didn't see Hector's face. Like, they could pull some shit where it wasn't Hector.
The only way they would have done that was if they changed him on the street.
Okay.
Because it looks like he went from his apartment, you saw his face.
Yeah, okay, so we did see his face.
He put the mask on because he started out because they showed the amulet and all that kind of stuff. And then he went out just casually walking around on the street full white suit and stuff, which I thought was odd.
Correct.
And then he heard some noise, and as soon as I heard that, I knew it was a setup.
Yeah.
But I also think, remember when Matt was talking to him, he was like, it's not easy to not be White Tiger. It's like, you might as well just stop, ask me to stop breathing.
Yeah.
I think the amulet has some kind of, which they tend to do in comics, they have some kind of possessive quality about them, which makes you want to wear them, put them on, so on and so forth, because the more you wear them, the more they can possess you, kind of a thing.
Right.
So it's almost like, it was the way he said it, it was almost like a drug to him to have it, to have it on. And he was in withdrawals almost when he didn't have it on.
Right.
So which would explain why, hey, dude, you've been out of this White Tiger. Lawyer saying, hey, dude, you can't wear this fucking suit anymore. But then the first thing you do is go suit up.
Yeah, that kind of pissed me off, dude. Like, really? Like, dude, give it a day or something. You know what I mean? Like, I used to act up in school, but if I had just got suspended, because the day I came back, I was going to take it easy a little bit. You were going to, like, give me a few days, right?
Something.
Holy shit. He's like, no, fuck that, putting the shit right back on.
Right.
And then somebody shows up. You see the Punisher logo on a shirt. We don't see Guy's face, and he just pops him right in the head.
Right. Well, nobody shows up. It was definitely set up. They just kind of probably followed where he was, made a female screaming noise. He goes running, unexperienced superhero like.
Yeah.
He just starts jogging down a alley. He's not looking. It's almost like he was completely inexperienced and walking into a setup, right? And he just walks down straight, face straight. And somebody in the shadow, when he got to the end, just popped him right in the side of the head.
Yep.
And that was that.
Dressed as Punisher.
Yep.
Is there any chance that that's Frank Castle?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Because the way the logo was, it was too defined. It was all shiny. It was just a different dimension. I think it was a different person or somebody, copycat kind of a deal. Yeah.
It's either a copycat or it's a crooked cop.
Yeah.
I mean, it fits the whole, like, that logo they're embracing, right?
Sure.
It's probably one of the fucking cops that was in the alley.
Or could have been Fisk. Not Fisk himself.
Yes, Fisk behind it,
But yeah. So just like What's-Her-Face was behind the little deal, the $1.8 million thing.
Dude, I think you're right. Because if that's another scene we haven't talked about yet, we see Fisk verbally upset about this.
Right.
About the verdict.
Yes,
because Fisk is playing. Dude, it almost parallels with our current commander in chief right now. Like in some ways, right?
Sure.
Obviously, I mean, I'm not saying that Trump is a kingpin, but
no, we're not going to say that at all.
No, not at all. But there are some. I guess
it's relatable.
It's definitely relatable. That's the way to put it. It's relatable.
I mean, one's bald, one's not.
There's that. But they're playing up to that politician who everyone thinks is crooked. Since he's been a politician, he hasn't got caught doing anything crooked. We've seen some shit. We've seen him kill somebody, right? But he's like, no, I'm on the up and up. I'm not. But he's against vigilantism, and he's against people. And he even called out White Tiger, Daredevil, and Spider-Man in his kind of acceptance speech when he was elected as mayor. He said you don't want people running around in silly ass costumes and all this shit.
Does this take place in the same universe as the current Spider-Man?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So there was rumors that in Spider-Man 4 or maybe even 5, we're going to see some crossover. Which do we need to see this Kingpin fight Tom Holland Spider-Man?
Absolutely.
Like, I love Spider. You're a big Spider-Man guy. Spider-Man gets his ass whooped and comes back. I need to see Tom Holland bloodied by Kingpin.
Right.
And then Tom Holland getting the upper hand at the end.
You know, the traditional broken mask.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
the bloody face, half the mask lifted up. Yeah, we need to see that kind of stuff.
Dude, for one-shot fights, like you're a creator, you appreciate cinematography, things of that nature. For one-shot fights, the Daredevil series have some of the best in any form of media.
Right.
Yeah.
Dude, these fights where they're like hallways, prisons, and it's one shot the entire time of Matthew Murdock getting his ass whooped and dishing out ass whoopings.
Right.
I mean, and they started the series with one as well.
Right. I like the fact those fights are so surreal and visceral.
Yeah.
And because you go down the hallway and Matt and these guys that they're fighting, they usually come with guns, prepared.
Right.
Because he's walking into a place where they are armed in some way. But he's taking fireman axes, fireman hoses, extinguishers, doorknobs, doors.
Yeah.
I mean, literally anything that he picks up along the way. Your shit when he beats your ass. I mean, it just makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's incredible. These are incredible fighting scenes.
Yeah, absolutely. So then at the end of the episode, we see Matt in court. Right, there's a lot to this scene here.
Right,
he's sitting in the empty courtroom. He's holding the horn to the last Daredevil costume that he wore. That in the beginning of the series, we see it broken off, and Karen Page gave it to him.
Right,
when they last saw each other.
Yeah, which was her exit.
Correct. Yeah,
Pisses me
she's
off.
out. But he has this, and if you remember in the original show, Matthew spent a lot of time in church. He's a Catholic, right? So that's another thing he struggles with: Catholic religion versus what am I doing? He struggles with, does he really believe in God at times, right?
I think the preacher should don the suit. I mean, he's more.
Yeah.
He's like, man, what are you asking for?
Right.
What do you want? Out of all this, because he knows who he is.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, what do you want? Just do your shit.
Right. And we've not seen him in church yet in this show. He's kind of like removed himself from that world. So it's him sitting in this courtroom. To me, was like, I'm not ready to go back to church.
Right.
But I need to sit somewhere where it's just me, where it's similar. Right. He's almost sitting like what would be a pew in the church.
Exactly.
And he's just sitting there looking forward. Well, he's blind, he ain't looking, but he's sitting there, facing forward.
There you go.
And he's holding the horn in his hand, like contemplating. Like, so what I asked earlier, is this going to be the catalyst to him becoming Daredevil? Like, you think we see Daredevil in episode 4?
I think so.
I think so.
I don't think they can move this thing because it's only probably 7 or 8 or maybe 9 episodes. In this
I think it's
thing.
9 total. Yeah.
I don't think you can go more, half of the show without seeing the main character.
Correct. Yeah. And we saw in one of the trailers, there's a scene where he opens up like some, I don't know, closet or whatever, and we see all the different Daredevil helmets and stuff. Like, because now Matt's making money. He's got a real law firm.
Right.
He's not just in Hell's Kitchen doing favors for people.
Right.
He's got a successful law firm. He's got money now.
Right.
So we're seeing a whole different take on it, which I like. I think it stayed true to the tone, to a lot of the things from the original series, but the characters have evolved.
Sure.
So it's like they just took these characters, evolved them 5 or 6 years,
Yeah, right.
and now we're telling a completely new story.
Right.
I'm surprised in this how many people know the secret identities of these characters are, without them getting exposed. Because in the comics, you didn't really feel that a lot of people knew. But if they did, they were dead in the very next, next month.
Yeah, they
Didn't last long, bro. That is a
death
true
sentence.
statement. It really was, dude. Be careful what you ask for. I would give this episode probably an 8, solid 8. You're a little lower on it.
Yeah, a little lower. Yeah. Probably 7.5.
Got
it. And I think that's acceptable because of what it is.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not going to shit on it because there's a reason that they're building this thing up.
Yeah.
Like I said, the slow burn, and I think it's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that is our take on Daredevil.
Wait a minute before we exit out of that.
Yep.
So Vanessa thing.
Oh yeah, Vanessa.
Oh my God. And I got so just like, we weave, Martha into a few things, well, we're going to weave Vanessa into a couple things today too later on. It's like, but I just feel sorry because, so what happened was Matt's partner, the female, the black female, right?
Yep.
Hooked him up with this psychologist.
Mm-hmm.
She sent him there to meet her thinking that she needed a lawyer,
yeah.
and she was sent there thinking that he needed a psychologist. So they met up, and it was kind of, tumultuous in the first place, but they hit it off. So they're now girlfriend, boyfriend. However, she happens to be Fisk's and Vanessa's psychologist now. So the mayor and Mrs. Fisk is sitting at the couch of Daredevil's girlfriend.
Yeah.
So you know what's going to happen, right? They're going to fucking kill her because she is going to know so much about Fisk and Vanessa during these sessions that they're probably going to feel that she is a point of, being vulnerable for them.
Right.
So, which is typically what happens. Or she'll find out that Matt's Daredevil and she'll die some other kind of way. Yeah. Maybe Elektra will come back and kill her out of jealousy or something.
I mean, you're partly joking, but I would not be surprised. I do think she's not going to make it to the next season.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to happen. So, anyways, moving on, we have, March Madness. Well, I don't know. Do you know March Madness is going on, Chris?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. I'm not going to ask you who your pick is because I wouldn't even know the team because I'm not. I'm of the three of us, I probably watch more sports than any out of the group, but I don't watch college sports. It's just I don't have time to. I watch some NFL, a little bit of NBA. Steph Curry just made his hit his 4,000th three. I don't know if I'm saying all fucked up, but
so he's done 12,000 3-pointers.
No, 4,000 3-pointers. He's made 4,000.
He's hit his 4,000th 3-pointer.
There you go.
Got it.
Yeah, that one. The fucking tease is messing me up, dude. I don't know if something happens. But yeah, so he hit number 4,000 this past week, so phenomenal. But our March Madness bracket's a little different. So if you go to the laptop shop, so this is our entire bracket. So right now we are down to, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, the Sweet 16. So this tournament, Chris, we discuss the battle. Sometimes we bring in ChatGPT to give us some knowledge here, right? And then me and Adrian pick a winner. Typically, if we disagree, I have this coin right here, so we flip it. But right now, you're here, so if we disagree, Chris is going to be our tiebreaker.
All right.
Okay,
that's cool.
So that's the thing about Only Comics. We are rule fluid here, Chris. Yes. The rules can transition as much as they want here. Okay?
Exactly.
We don't care. So that's the full bracket. Let's see. We're going to start with Cosmic here. So Superman last week faced off against Captain Marvel. Superman beat Captain Marvel. Silver Surfer beat Thor. So Adrian, Superman, Silver Surfer, who's winning this?
Under most conditions, I'll say Silver Surfer.
Okay.
However, under the right conditions, it can be Superman. So, I'll say overall Silver Surfer. And what I mean by that is if they're fighting because Silver Surfer can go to any universe, not multiverses, but any universe, right? Superman cannot because if he goes to a universe with a red sun, he's fucked. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So that's what I mean by under any condition, because under any condition, Silver Surfer is still Silver Surfer with all of his powers. Yeah. Right. Under most situations, Superman is Superman with all of his powers. Right. So I would say Silver Surfer.
Here's another point. Silver Surfer's energy manipulation could drain Superman's power if used properly. So as far as speed, Silver Surfer's pretty damn fast. Sure. Is he faster than Superman? Close to? What do you think?
I don't think he's faster than Superman. Yeah. Because Silver Surfer is jet-like fast, meaning he can go in a straight line. I mean, Silver Surfer is like jet-like speed. He can, faster than light, obviously, because he has to go through all these universes. I mean, and it's not like he's an Olympic level athlete speed. He's greater than that. Right. But Superman is like, I don't even exist kind of a speed. Mm-hmm. And not only that, he can move in space faster than, you could even think about moving. So it's so he has both the jet-like, linear speed, but he also has the movement speed, which is an incredible advantage for him over pretty much most people. Like if you get in a fight with a Hulk, Hulk is strong. He can split a planet in half. So can Superman. But Superman can also be around the Hulk, hit him literally every inch of his body seemingly simultaneously. That's a big difference in the types of speed.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously, Superman from a raw strength set is stronger, but from a power standpoint, I think Silver Surfer has the edge. Like, he can tap into that cosmic power, and he would have more power than Superman.
Well, it's a different kind of power, but I think if Superman got his hands on him, he would probably, what they call him, unlife him now.
Yeah, just unalive him.
It's like just kill the dude, man.
Like, we can't say kill anymore. Like, he's gonna unalive him, Chris. What the fuck does unalive mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't in the meeting where we came up with that.
Is it offensive to say that someone's been killed when they've been killed?
I think it's a good word.
Right, it's pretty appropriate.
Sure. Like, it's like when they put smoking in the warnings for TV. Now. They're gonna smoke. Watch out, they're gonna smoke. Like what?
Like in the show, you mean?
In the show, like movies now. It's like I understand. Violence, graphic, whatever, nudity,
smoking,
but now they got smoking in it too, or flashing lights, and I can kind of understand that one too.
Yeah.
You want anybody going to an epileptic fit in the middle of a movie theater,
pretty soon,
smoking, dude.
That's crazy. Pretty soon you're gonna get like they're eating meat in this movie. Right? Hey, watch yourself. It's gonna be not gluten-free food. They're going to be eating gluten in this show, so just everybody relax.
Well, unless it's American meat.
There you go.
Just a little trivia, and this is other stuff. However, I was in Switzerland a long time ago, right? And I'm looking at the menu, and they give you all these choices of meat, right? And they tell you where the meat comes from. Wherever Europe, Canada, U.S. And right at the top in small letters, it'll say U.S. meat not recommended.
Oh, shit.
I was like, wow, this is crazy. But anyway, that's that.
That's crazy. So, I think Silver Surfer, this is what chat says. It says, it's a coin toss. If Surfer fully taps the power cosmic, he can counter Superman's raw strength. If Supes lands a decisive blow early, he could drop the Silver Surfer. Cool. That's kind of what you said. If he gets him like one good shot, I don't think he's gonna though. Right. I'm gonna go with no.
If he gets to him, period, I think he'll have a better chance. But if it's like they meet up, on the moon or some shit, I think, I keep it simple. Surfer surrounds him because he can manipulate his surfboard, right?
Right.
Surrounds him, keeps him out of the sunlight. It'll take a little while, but he can get to him too.
Damn, another L for your boy Superman. Sorry, all you DC fans out there. Yeah, go show that win right. Look at that, Silver Surfer moving on. So now we're gonna go to the Mystic group here. So we had these grouped up by like similar power sets, right? Yeah. So that was the Cosmic. We had people like Captain Marvel in there, Superman, obviously, Beta Ray Bill. Now the Mystic. These are like magic manipulators, things of that nature. So Dr. Doom versus Scarlet Witch. This is a big battle here because we also are going to give away some merch, Chris, to the person that predicted the winner from the earliest prediction of the winner, right? So we had a lot of people drop in the comments who they thought were going to win. Nice, but here's the thing. Doom and Scarlet Witch are both kind of leading. And if I were to tally up all of the guesses, Doom and Scarlet Witch are most people's pick. So one of them's going to be out today, Adrian.
Yes.
We're going to go through this like we did traditionally versus. Some of them we just know right off the bat, but this one, Dr. Doom, we know he's the ruler of Latveria, right? He's unmatched in genius, tech, and sorcery. He's scarred by his own hubris, as they say. One thing that a lot of people don't know about Doom or seem to forget is it's not just the suit and the energy blast and all that shit. He's also a top of the line sorcerer, rivaling Doctor Strange.
I wouldn't say rivaling, but I would say he's there because he has sat in the seat as the Sorcerer Supreme.
Yeah.
So he's at that level. However,
okay,
we have seen Scarlet Witch go in, decimate Strange, Wong, and all the little minions and shit, all at the same time. So
true.
You already know where this is going.
That's what I'm thinking, but we're gonna give Victor here a fair shot. Okay, his powers: highly advanced armor, energy blast, force fields, a whole deal, right? Skilled in black magic and mystic arts. Genius level intellect, like everyone else in comics. Dude, there's no dumb people in comics.
There's no dumb people in comics.
I'm waiting for the guy, like, my man's IQ is 42, right? Like, he's just really strong. He fucking don't even know what day. Ready to fight? Let's fight. Like, I'm waiting for that guy.
I'm looking for my representation in comics. I need
we need better representation.
Yeah.
Trust me, they're there somewhere. they make sure they cover everybody.
Right. Instead of gender swapping and race swapping, can we intellect swap?
Yeah, I'll be the dumb guy.
Can we make Tony Stark a dumbass? That's his Iron Man suit falling apart? No, you're not down with that.
No, not at all.
So anyways, he's a genius like everyone else and their brother and their brother's brother. His weaknesses, overbearing ego. Doom's got an ego.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, it can be exploited. We've seen this several times in the comics. His armor and sorcery can be disrupted by stronger cosmic mystical forces. I think that's what you're kind of getting at here a little bit.
Definitely.
Let's talk about Scarlet Witch, Wanda Maximoff. Everybody's, wishful adopted mom, I guess. Mutant, or sometimes not, depending on what comic you're reading, right? Reality warping chaos magic. So different type of magic, but also the reality warping part is where I think gives her the edge over most people.
Right. So a lot of people. Okay. So we talked about fire people, right? So you have the Human Torch. You wrap him up in a condom and his flames go out, right? We talk about Nova, who used to have powers like the Human Torch, but when Galactus made her his herald, she had power cosmic flames, which is not easily extinguishable. Obviously, because she's flying around space, with a fire head. Then we got Nova, who is also a different kind of. He's more nuclear. Not Nova. Firestorm. He has a nuclear kind of flame. Now it won't be extinguished as easily as a Human Torch, but it's not spacefaring either. Okay. So you handle those differently. Well, the magic is kind of the same way. You have Dr. Doom's magic, which is powerful, but then you have Wanda. Her magic isn't really even magic. It's probability magic, which is so magic. You can think about it like the Hulk is force and Superman is force. And then you got somebody like a Captain Marvel. She's not as strong, but she's powerful because she can project energy. It's kind of like the same thing. Regular magic, like Doom magic, is force. Wanda's magic is probability, which means that she can literally do fucking anything, right? So that's the difference, and I think that is, and also she's more. Doom, he was brought up in the magic. Wanda is a mutant with the capability to wield, so she has more experience than Doom, I think, and also the fact that she can pop around in multiverses and interact with multiverses and bring up all kinds of stuff is beyond Doom capability. Now, the other thing is that she don't have to really use all that kind of magic. She just convinced him that he's not smart. He'll self-destruct, and it's done. Yeah,
absolutely. So her powers can reshape reality or cast powerful hexes, Omega level potential, huge magical and telekinetic feats. Her weakness is emotional instability. She is a fucking head case, right? Trauma can magnify or destabilize her powers, which we've seen some of that. Vulnerable to psychic manipulation if taken by surprise. Now, this whole idea of this tournament, it's not, and no one's being taken by surprise. It's they meet up, let's go, motherfucker. There's no, and why Batman hasn't gone, so there's no prep time. It's because Batman usually gets his ass whooped the first time. But he'll get his ass whooped twice, right? Like he's gonna come back, dude, and it's gonna be worse. But you may get him the first time. But this is, hey, y'all, we just show up on the street corner, no prep type shit. So this is what chat says, a magic duel. Doom sorcery versus Wanda's chaos magic. Both can warp the battlefield in unpredictable ways. Tech versus reality warping. Doom's armor defends against many attacks, but Wanda can twist reality itself, potentially bypassing conventional defenses. His armor ain't going to do shit to her fucking reality warping. Strategy versus instability. Doom excels at planning and manipulation, it's not going to happen here. While Wanda can unleash overwhelming power if she's pushed over the edge. I do think a fight against Doom will push her over the edge, and then she's just going to lose it, and Doom's going to be fucking left in a pile of dust. The outcome, this is what chat says, if Doom preps properly with artifacts or spells, he can counter Wanda's power, but he's not going to be able to. But if Wanda goes all out and keeps focus, her reality warping can overpower almost anyone. I'm going to go Wanda.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, across
Wanda
the board.
All the way, dude.
And the difference, so mystic magic versus chaos magic, just a couple quick things. Mystic magic is like you're using spells and rituals. You kind of got to conjure this. Like we see Doctor Strange all the time saying shit, doing all this fucking nonsense. It's not just like snap of the finger, right? So you got to be a little more strategic. Chaos magic is just, it draws on raw, often destructive forces, and it can warp probability or reality itself with fewer rules. So it's really just like untapped.
Right.
There's not as many restrictions to her magic as there is to Doom's or Doctor Strange.
Right. I don't think that there is a limit to that chaos, because chaos is just that chaos, chaotic.
Right.
No rules, no book, no boundaries of it. So whatever she can perceive, she can create and or manipulate.
Right.
So
it's emotion driven. So as much as she's a head case, Wanda's emotional state can amplify the magic as well.
Right.
And I mean, reality warping, it can rewrite fundamental laws, time, space, existence in a way that more structured sorcery often cannot. So I think it's hands down Dr. Doom. Sorry, if you picked Dr. Doom, you're fucking wrong, bro. It's all good, though. We still love you. You can be, thing about Only Comics, Chris, you can be wrong and still be a fan of the show. It's okay. Because we're normally right, typically, most of the time, even when we're not. But Scarlet Witch moves on, so all you folks that picked Dr. Doom, sorry. And there we go, Scarlet Witch. Another dub for our girl Wanda. All right, moving on to Tech and Enhanced. So these were people like anyone that was enhanced, like a Spider-Man, right? Tech people like Iron Man, Invisible Woman who was enhanced. So last round, Miles beat Peter Parker. So you're a Spider-Man guy, Chris. Yeah. When I say that, how does that make you feel?
I understand.
You understand? I understand. You agree?
I agree. I agree.
A lot of people don't for some weird reason.
Yeah.
I don't know what it could be.
I love Peter Parker as much as the next guy. That's my dog.
Yeah.
I know.
Why do you say what about Miles?
Because Miles has proven to be more powerful.
Right.
And we've seen it in comics. I mean, he's beat Peter's ass a handful of times.
And I think they've actually stated it in comics before that he's on another level.
Isn't he undefeated against Peter Parker in the comic? I believe so.
I think so.
So when people go, it can never happen. Bitch, it's happened 12 times in the comics. I don't know what the fuck your definition of never is, but that seems
like different powers that Peter doesn't have.
Right.
So
absolutely.
He's already at a different tier.
And that was kind of our main point was he has everything Peter has and then some.
Yes.
Right.
It's not like he's missing the spider sense and he's got he's got everything he's got.
Right.
He's got that venom bite, that like electricity power.
Yes.
And he can turn invisible.
Correct.
So the only we're not 100% sure on is if he's invisible, can Daredevil see him? I would assume so. Because he's sending out like almost like a sonar, radar.
I mean, that's a good question. I haven't really dove into Miles's powers.
Yeah.
I would assume it's light bending invisibility as opposed to displacement.
Yep.
Like Sue, when she goes invisible, I think she can set up her fields to where everything just goes. She kind of phases as opposed to just bends light around you.
Yeah.
Some people actually go invisible. Some people convince you that you can't see them, which is different. That's a mind thing. It's almost like there's two types of pills. There's like acetaminophen,
Yep.
And then like a Tylenol versus a Bayer. One of them actually attacks the pain. One of them convinces you that there is no pain.
Right. Yeah.
So it's kind of like that. So Sue bends light around her to make her invisible to everything.
Mm-hmm.
Some people changes the receptors in your eye or changes your mind to make you think that they're invisible.
Right.
But they can be seen by everybody else, kind of a deal.
Right. Okay.
So I don't know so Daredevil's radar is definitely that. It's like he sends out a pulse and he gets a return and he can see whatever's in between. So if Miles turns invisible, I don't know if it's phasing or is it like light bending.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow, that was long-winded.
That was good, dude. It was Adrian's learning tree before Hidden Gem. That's like
that's
you guys got
Adrian
double.
can convince me of pretty much everything. He's got the knowledge to back it up, you know?
Right. You're like, I'm sold.
Yeah, exactly.
So this round is Invisible Woman versus Miles Morales. Okay. So
Invisible Woman.
yeah.
Yeah. All day.
This one's tough. So all day, it's a no-brainer for you.
No brainer.
Yeah.
So Miles can turn invisible. So here's the thing. Guess what one of Invisible Woman's powers is? She can make things that are invisible visible to her.
Okay. Well, all right. Say less.
It's a bummer.
Yeah. Sorry, Miles.
You know,
It's a bummer.
even if she couldn't, she can wrap herself around a shield, and then she can just look at where his attacks are coming from.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, she can literally cover the earth with a force field, and then just bring that shit in until she capture him.
Right.
It's just so many things.
Well, there you have it. Invisible Woman. See, some of them, Chris, don't need much discussion. We just move past it. Oh, we got one here. Your boy, our boy, Chris.
Oh, yeah.
Batman versus Shang-Chi.
So I am unfamiliar with Shang-Chi.
Well, you know,
I remember the movie came out. I just didn't get a chance to watch it.
it's actually a really good movie.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
I've heard it's really, really good.
Yep.
Think about the difference between Peter Parker and Miles Morales, right?
Yeah.
So you got Batman and Shang-Chi. So Shang-Chi is Batman, but he's got powers.
Yeah.
You can kind of think about it like that. I mean, it's very simplistic. You know, Batman has all of these other, he has the, utility belt, but he has a very high martial arts skill set, right? So does Shang-Chi. So, but then he also has these other powers on top of that. So,
So here's a breakdown of his powers. He's often cited as Marvel's greatest hand-to-hand fighter, okay? And he can channel chi for enhanced strikes and senses.
right.
So not like superpower. He's channeling some chi, ancient spirit, something.
Kind of like a
on it.
Power Man kind of a deal with the, Iron Fist
Yes.
deal.
Yep. So, which means he's not that much stronger than Batman. It's not like, Juggernaut strength versus
Sure.
Batman. But you think that gives him the edge?
Well, he's one of, did he say the greatest or one of the greatest? I mean,
Often cited as Marvel's greatest hand-to-hand fighter.
okay, so then that eclipses Batman.
Well, Marvel's.
I mean,
So that eclipses Daredevil, Iron Fist, all these folks.
Right.
Taskmaster, Black Widow. That's a bold fucking claim right there.
Yeah, it's a bold.
We're gonna
it's a
see him
bold
back
claim.
that shit up. Like,
I would say I give it to Batman actually, because if you think about it, I'm assuming that this being able to channel this stuff, first of all, it takes time.
correct.
You know, you got to do all this and the hula hoop dance and all this bullshit, right? You got to get it up. So first of all, Batman's going to take you out before you get to all that
Correct.
kind of stuff,
Yeah.
right? Second of all, it's got to be taxing, tiring, right? It's not something he can do all day.
Right.
I'm not saying Batman is a Captain America because he's not. But again, at some point, and they both have their disciplines.
Yeah.
But I think that he can't do that all day, and Batman has other things that can counter that. So I think Batman's utility belt
Yeah.
and will counter this chi.
Yeah.
And he has such other attributes, Batman, that even if Shang-Chi is considered the greatest in DC, Batman will still win out based on other things because the analytical mind. Right. And we always talk about this, like, if Batman had prep, he could beat anybody. But we're talking about street corner battle. They both walk up unprepared to fight each other, but then they fight each other.
Yeah.
I think Batman will take him out.
I like that answer.
You like that
think
one?
Batman too.
Yeah. As long as this doesn't happen. Martha! As long as that doesn't.
Martha, we're done.
We're done. It's a wrap.
Done.
Everyone take it back. But no. I mean, I was going to defer to you, Chris, because I'm going to be biased and say Batman, but you agree as well. So, all right, we're gonna move Batman on. Sorry, Shang-Chi. It was a good run, dude. You didn't have enough chi. But I agree with what you're saying. If the gadgets and the tech is going to give Batman the edge over the chi, even if they're equal from I know they're not, but if they're equal from a fighting standpoint, he doesn't have to conjure up a batarang or some shit. It's right on his belt,
It's not that the chi is. I think that the weapons that Batman has on him will not. It's not necessarily greater than, or the chi is greater than the weapons. I just think they cancel each other out.
Okay.
I think they're powerful enough in their own to just cancel each other out. Then you're left with the fighting, the skill. Right.
Yeah.
I just think that Batman's just will and determination, and he's not identified as the greatest hand to hand combatant.
Right.
But he's pretty up there, dude.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you have it. Batman moves on. Next up, a group that we call the Titans on here. So these are people like Doomsday, Apocalypse, Hulk, Juggernaut. These folks, right? So we got Doomsday, moved past Apocalypse last week. Hulk beat Juggernaut. So Doomsday and Hulk. Who do you got here, Adrian?
I'm gonna go with the Hulk on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. I'm gonna go with the Hulk. What do you know about Doomsday, Chris?
I don't know much about Doomsday other than what I've seen from the comics and the movies, and it seems like he was pretty beat easily.
Yeah.
Usually, I mean, he would give people a run for their money for a little bit, but Hulk, I feel like.
Well, I mean, Doomsday is what, like he's an amped up Kryptonian, basically.
Kryptonian monster.
Let's say he's twice as strong as Superman, right?
Yeah.
Well, so you got the Hulk who can split planets. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Right.
There is just no perceivable upper limit to his strength, right?
Yes.
I mean, so Superman, he can bench press basically the equivalent of a planet, sure, but that's still an upper limit. Mm-hmm. The Hulk does not have that. So, and also the angrier he gets, the more that strength increases. Mm-hmm. Not only does his strength increase, but his healing also increases, right? So Doomsday can, land some blows, snap off a limb. Yeah. That shit's going to grow back.
Right.
I mean, all kinds of stuff. And that's one thing that people don't talk about when they talk about the Hulk, right? They talk about his strength, his rage, but they don't talk about his healing. Wolverine, they talk about healing.
Right.
The Hulk, they don't. Right. So almost instantaneous healing, all this other kind of shit.
Would you say it's on par with Wolverine's? Equal,
absolutely
better?
not. Absolutely not.
No. Who has a better healing factor?
The Hulk.
The Hulk does, really.
Yeah. I mean, this dude can grow back hearts and limbs, and I mean, almost instantaneous and stuff.
That's why, the more you think about what we've seen the MCU do with Hulk, dude, they neutered my boy. It's like The Godfather. What they do to my boy, Shit, they do to my boy over here. Shit. And now Doomsday's thing is, he's practically immortal. He learns from every defeat. So after every death, he's resurrected stronger. But this is a one-time fight. Mm-hmm. We're not talking about, you die and come back.
Right.
So Hulk's going to kill him.
Yep.
Or unalive him, as they say.
Oh, my God.
And kill him after he unalives him. But, I'm going to go Hulk, dude, all the way. My boy, Bruce Banner. Not the Mark Ruffalo version. You a fan of his Bruce Banner, Chris?
I am.
Yeah, you are?
I am.
So far, you and Bruce and Mark Ruffalo are fans of him.
Yeah.
Right.
Moving on to Savages. This is a fun group here. We had Wolverine versus Lobo last week. Lobo took the dub there. And Sabretooth versus Venom. Venom won that. So Lobo versus Venom, Adrian.
Let's see. Considering...
Not the Tom Hardy Venom.
Right. Considering... one superhero pushed Venom into space and snapped him in half.
Okay.
And Lobo, and I'm not saying the name of this person because that's the hidden gem.
Oh shit! A little teaser right there. You see that, dude?
I like that.
And also Lobo to Superman is like Sabretooth to Wolverine. Mm-hmm. Wolverine, if you don't know, he'll show up on Sabretooth shows up on Wolverine's birthday. Kicks his ass like a little brother. Yeah. And then see you next year. Yeah. Lobo comes to Earth and just routinely slaps Superman around. Basically he's a biker on a spacefaring bike, right? And so super strength, obviously he is capable of traversing and surviving space, all these kind of attributes, super powerful, super strength. So Venom,
nope.
I mean, he can shapeshift. He can do some things. He can create weapons, things like he's a savage. But Lobo is a savage in a controlling way. Like, I'm going to kind of fuck with you until I kill you kind of thing. Venom is just straight savagery. Not the the Venom that we've been seeing on live action, but he likes to dance and stuff. Right. So
he's a DJ too.
He's a DJ too.
That's a good one.
So I'm gonna go with Lobo.
Sayla already made the move. Look at that. Yep, you already convinced me. That's a no-brainer. Sorry, Venom. Elemental and energy manipulator. So this one, I think of all the battles, you know what? I'm gonna say this one for last. We're gonna skip ahead because I think that's probably the best one.
Yeah, that's gonna take some deep dive right there. Cassandra
Nova versus Jean Grey. I'm just gonna say Jean Grey.
Yeah, Jean Grey. You know who Cassandra Nova is?
Not familiar with her.
So apparently, Charles Xavier, the X-Men. So apparently, inter utero, right? Charles was a twin. And he, even as an embryo or fetus, detected his sister as being evil, which was his twin.
Yeah.
Right? So he killed her, supposedly.
Typical Charles behavior.
Yeah. Right. Bald-headed, short-cocking mofo, right? He killed her, but he didn't. She was kind of aborted. I don't know how she ended up in the sewer, but she pretty much grew up in the worst possible conditions on the side of a fucking wall in a sewer, right? And she, of course, developed all these psychoses behind that and so on and so forth. So she is a telepath, as powerful as her brother, but she can manipulate matter and things like that, telekinesis. Yeah. So she's more powerful than her brother.
She's twisted.
But she is not
and she just
Jean
lost
Grey.
To Jean Grey.
Yeah. Right. Yep. So there's that.
So you haven't seen Deadpool Wolverine yet?
No.
Check it out. She's in there, and I think they did a great job of bringing that character to life there. That movie, I mean, it's a Deadpool movie. It's meta. It's funny. Yeah. But for a movie that's Deadpool movie, there's a lot of really heart to it. Yeah. Right? Like, in a weird way. Mm-hmm. It's fun. Speaking of Savage, you see it's the best Wolverine we've ever seen on screen from a true to comic savagery standpoint. Correct. Right? Mm-hmm. Like, Logan was phenomenal. We saw bits and pieces there, but we've seen full Wolverine rage at times in this.
Right. I mean, but it's not just the Wolverine rage. It's somebody that can accept it. It's like when Superman goes up against Darkseid, right? Okay, finally somebody I can just let loose on. Correct. And that's what happened in there. Wolverine just let loose on Deadpool because you can't kill him anyway.
Right.
So
it was great. But moving on, the last battle of the Sweet 16. So we'll find out who's going to face Jean Grey next week. We have Magneto and Storm, dude. Now, I know why I'm excited. Why do you say that we should say this for last, Adrian?
Because they both, essentially their powers are elemental. Magneto is more EM spectrum. Storm is more every fucking thing else, right?
Right.
So Magneto, he can, again, a lot of people focus on his ability to attract, manipulate, and project magnetism, right? But if you can manipulate the magnetic spectrum, that means you can manipulate other forms of EM.
Sure.
So light, things like that. So he can create heat like lightning, like Storm, right? He can manipulate electricity like Storm can. So their powers are very similar in that way. So let's cancel out the fact that they both can generate light and heat, which they both can, and get down to the bare tactics. But a lot of things that people don't know about Storm, she can also create tsunamis, hurricanes, tornadoes, things like that.
Yep.
So
she can flash freeze environments.
Correct. So if we take out the thing that we know about Magneto, the things that we don't focus on in Magneto, which is the other EM stuff, and we take out the other stuff that we don't know about, that we know about Storm, which is the tsunamis and all this other shit, right? So we're going up magnetism against Storm's basic power, which is mostly she uses like lightning and the fucking winds,
Right.
stuff like that.
She shows up, it's going to be windy. It's a guarantee.
Right. And by windy, we don't mean like these little, things that we get here. I mean, we're talking like destructive force, category 5, hurricane kinds of things.
Both Omega level mutants.
Both Omega level. Both can affect global changes in Earth, right? Magneto can actually knock the Earth off its axis and plunge it into the sun, kind of a deal. Storm cannot.
Correct.
However, she can flash freeze every molecule in the air around the planet at the same time, basically change it to a giant ice ball or fucking fire pit, or she can, turn sand into glass. So the reason I'm going on and on, because I'm thinking about this as I'm saying this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it to Magneto because, she can do all that stuff. He can resist a lot of that stuff by his shields. But even in dust, there's magnetic particles. Think about if you take a, arrow, those arrow tips that are like razor blades, right? Mm-hmm. So imagine 1 billion of those being shoved into your nostrils and just fucking rake through your entire body.
Yeah,
that would be something Magneto would do.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Now, on the same token, Storm can do that with just dust in Magneto. But I think Magneto's psychosis would give him the real advantage.
Yeah.
Because basically, the only thing he had to do is, encase her in 4 car doors, 6. Because you got to have 4 walls on the side, one at top and bottom, right? Because she's claustrophobic. Fucking Charles, over there, too busy shirt cocking it
for real
and not taking his limitation off of Storm, which he could have done.
You would think, like, you just fix that, right? Like, if you were claustrophobic, Chris, and I had like powers where I'd do it for free, bro. Like, while you're sitting here, you wouldn't even know,
right?
But no, of course not. So you're saying Magneto?
Yep, Magneto.
Let's see. This is what ChatGPT says. So powers, you already talked about a lot of this, manipulate magnetic fields, blah blah blah. But this is where he can you touched on this a little bit. He can even affect the iron in your blood.
Right.
Like, we've seen some of this in some of the X-Men movies, but he can do that without adding iron to your blood.
Sure.
The other thing is he can also use his electromagnetic powers to create force fields and things of that nature. So a lot of these attacks that Storm have, although they're powerful, he can technically block a lot of them. Storm could, hurricanes come and he's sitting there with this force field around him protecting him.
Yeah, but he still needs to breathe inside of these force fields. She could evacuate the air out of these force fields. So she doesn't need to get to him by an outside of attack.
Yeah.
She can just evacuate the air out of his lungs.
Got it. Okay. But this could shield from her lightning attacks, things of that nature. Yeah. I mean, she could flood the area. That's one thing.
Yeah, but things like lightning attacks, stuff like that, it's probably not going to phase him that much. Because he also has that capability.
Correct. Yeah, I think it would be a great fight. Like, they'd have to figure these things out. Like, I don't think he's just going to come in and obliterate her. But I'm going to go Magneto, too. We didn't even need the tiebreaker today, Chris. So that's all right.
I think that, because I always break down, like, the simplest things for me. Like, how do you kill, I don't know, somebody that's super powerful, super strong, drowning, things like that. Storm, claustrophobic. Just wrap her up in some whatever, and she's done.
Correct. All right, well, there you have it. Magneto beats Storm. So next week, we're going to have Magneto versus Jean Grey, okay? So we have the winners of each category now. So from the telepath, mind games category, Jean Grey won. Elemental energy manipulators, you got Magneto. Savages, we got Lobo. So next week we're gonna have Lobo versus Hulk, who won the Titans group. That's gonna be interesting. And then we got on the other side here, we got Silver Surfer versus Scarlet Witch next week. Invisible Woman. Do we have the women here, Adrian? Scarlet Witch, Invisible Woman. Oh, versus Batman. Oh, man. Brucey boy, Brucey. Sorry for you. All right. Well, that is this round of March Madness. So we got 8 left, Elite 8. Of all these ones I named, Chris, if you had to pick a winner right now, what do you think that would be?
I'm hoping for Batman.
Hoping for Batman?
I know he's not going to make it to the end, but I'm hoping for Batman.
Sorry. No. I mean, hey, you can still hope, though. You never know. You never know. But Invisible Woman, I don't think Batman's got the tech for that. No. So. All right, moving on. We got We Respond, then we got a Hidden Gem, and then we're going to take this thing home. So We Respond, we got a handful of comments here this week. Chris, you've been on We Respond before. So
I have.
You feel like, taking a shot at someone, have at it. That's your chance.
Right.
There you go.
We have a whole group of interns out there, the Legion of Interns. They part of our membership. They get with us twice a week. So on Wednesdays, we drop other stuff. So we are going to shout out those. Big ups to all the interns. Here's one right here, DJ Super Soldier. He says, what's up, guys? Great episode as always. Thanks for answering my questions. Appreciate the love. I have just finished reading House of M, and it's fucking great. Yes, it is. Have you read House of M?
I've heard it's really good.
Dude, you got to read it. Yeah. You see the really full extent of Scarlet Witch's powers.
Right.
Done right. It's just awesome.
So here's just a little toe dip, as we used to call it, into Wanda's power, right? She can just utter a phrase and it happens, dude.
Yeah.
Like, let there be light, and there's light. She said, no more mutants, and she just wiped out 99% of all the mutants on the planet. That's insane.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they didn't even know it for like a few weeks. So a couple of them started like, wait a minute, this ain't our real life. This is what the fuck's going on here.
Right.
Yeah. So you're right, DJ. It is a great one. He says, question, what do you recommend reading before reading Secret Wars? Anything in particular that would be a great lead up? That's a great question. Can't wait for the Legion of Interns tease. Next week, they'll be here. So they did not get here in time. So apologize to all y'all, but we will be rocking those next week and they'll be up for sale. So, and DJ is checking in from London. So shout out to our mates across the pond, as they say. So I'm working on a reading guide. I'm doing all the homework, Chris, which is the opposite of how I was in school. I did none of the homework. I found people like Adrian became their friends and was like, yo, can I copy your shit, bro? And like, yeah, whatever, fuck it. But I'm doing the homework because you're a comic guy and you know there's like essential reading, then there's like the buffet of reading, which you don't really need. It take you 5 years to get through. So I'm going back. Worked my way backwards. I've read Secret Wars probably twice.
Right.
And I'm kind of working backwards to find out what's actually needed. So what I would say, DJ, is I'm going to have that in a few weeks. But there are Jonathan Hickman. You ever read any of his stuff?
I've heard of him.
Dude, he's phenomenal.
I probably have read some.
He's actually working on a new cosmic story for Marvel now. They're kind of bringing him back to the main line, something that's going to be a big event and change the face of Marvel, allegedly, which he's already done with Secret Wars. So, proven track record. I think he started on like Secret Warriors, some like kind of sideline comics, and then he got the Fantastic Four. They handed that to him. So he kind of did like he brought them a little more modern. He created this great storyline, which led to Reed Richards creating the Multiversal Bridge. Okay. Which then leads to a lot of the stuff in Secret Wars. So we see him, his Reed finds the Council of Reeds. Mm-hmm. So he's planted a lot of good seeds there. There's some great stuff that he's done with Franklin Richards, his sister, the whole deal. So there's some stuff there. I think it's Dark Reign, I believe is the name of it. That's one I think that's essential. And then once he was done with Fantastic Four, he did that for a few years. They moved him over to Avengers and New Avengers. So he was writing 2 stories on a monthly basis, dude, that they had some crossover, but both of these stories led to a story called Infinity, which brings Thanos and his crew back into it. And what's funny is a lot of I think they call him the Cabal, but Thanos' squad that we saw in the MCU, like Corvus Clay or whatever the fuck his name is, the Squidward looking guy, a lot of those characters were created by Hickman in this run. So they're newer Thanos, sidekicks or whatnot. Yeah. So we see them in Infinity, which then leads directly into, there's another storyline like, I don't know if it's not Final Crisis, but it has like a countdown to Secret Wars. So the New Avengers story will let you know all about incursions. We see some in there. We see them prevent it. So an incursion is 2 universes basically colliding, right? So there's ways around. We've seen in the comics where they've almost had like a bomb type thing that they planted in the other universe, and it's the Earths are like the point where they cross. There was one in one of these comics where the Earth was already like deserted and taken over, so they had no problem blowing it up. So they did that, and it basically saved this universe. But a lot of these incursions happen where it's two Earths that are populated, and that's what we see in Secret Wars. Right. We see the Ultimate Universe where Miles Morales was created collide with the 616, which is your traditional Marvel. Those are some, but DJ, we're going to put together a list and get that out to you. But shout out to DJ over in London. The Captain Canada. Dude, we are worldwide here, Chris. We got London. We got Canada. We found someone in Scotland. Cool. We need, are we over in, Asia yet? Like Japan, China? Were we over there yet? It takes longer for the internet to get across the world?
Doesn't take longer. Okay. But that whole censorship thing kind of probably comes into play.
Our foreign relationships are doing a lot better than you would think. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. So ours here,
ours in this room are doing a lot better.
Yes, than our leaders. So anyways, Captain Canada up there in Canada, he does not want to become the 51st state. We've confirmed that with him a few weeks ago. So we're also not going to become the whatever 11th, 12th province. Why don't we just keep being bordering countries?
Yeah, how about that? Just leave things alone.
Right, yeah. You know? So shout out Captain Canada is one of the interns, so big ups. What up, guys? Another week, another banger. Yes. I enjoyed the first 2 episodes of Born Again. Probably give it an 88. That's solid. They weren't kidding about more violence, more brutality. He agrees with us about Strange messing up big time. So Doctor Strange and the MCU, we're putting the blame on for the incursions. Right. All that reality, fucking with shit. And then he says, do you remember season 1 of What If? Strange tried to bring Christine back from the dead, and by doing so altered many things and ended up becoming Sinister Strange. I do remember that. So it's always fucking Stephen Strange's fault.
Yeah.
He's powerful mystic manipulator, but he's a dumbass.
What's the guy in Daredevil that with the mental powers and stuff?
Kilgrave?
Kilgrave.
Yeah.
So why didn't Peter just go to Kilgrave? Would have been far simpler.
Seriously, yeah.
You know, if Kilgrave can make people forget stuff, just have him do it.
You just can't trust him, though.
You just can't trust him.
Spider-Man be killing everybody.
Right. But no, he goes to Strange, and Strange with his ego, because he was egotistical as a surgeon.
Correct.
Right. So of course, naturally, he's going to be an egotistic mystic.
Mm-hmm. And we talked about comic book stores because, dude, we were talking about this a little bit earlier. I'm a fan of going to comic book stores, but certain ones for certain shit. Like, do you still go to stores?
Not really.
No. What's going to get you to go out to a store? Not much.
It's tough. They need to improve the overall experience of going into there. I mean, because I enjoy going to other brick and mortar stores. I like the act of going to a place to buy things.
Yeah. Well, how about one of the things they do is sell comic books. There's that.
Yes. So Captain Canada says, I like comic book stores, although I don't really buy much comics. I enjoy some of the board games they carry. I picked up Marvel Zombies the other day, which you can paint figures that come in the game. My son does that Warhammer. Yep. He plays the game and he does little figures and paints them. Okay. That's pretty cool. A lot of work. So definitely some stores are just shitty, Newberry. Yes, and he can't wait for the intern shirts. Well, they'll be here next week. Sons of Sekhmat says, I go to Big Ben. He's an intern. Shout out. Big Ben's Comics Oasis. I like that sometimes we'll package together individual comics in a story series. So we're going to be launching an online store soon, and I want to do a lot of that, like packaging the stories in which, my opinion, how you should read them, right? So it'd be there's Craigslist, there'll be Mike's List, Adrian.
There you go.
Except you can't buy, $20 couches that are worth $4 on Mike's List. You can't do that. Yeah. So, anyways,
well, you can, and we'll just set up a payment plan.
Oh yeah, there you go.
And it'll cost you like $8,000 for a $4 thing.
That's called Rent-A-Center. So he picked up Annihilators 1 through 4 packaged together for $15, all bagged and divorced. So stuff like that's cool. But to me, that would get me to come out.
Yeah.
I don't want to go look at boxes and boxes of ancient comics that nobody wants to fucking read.
What am I supposed to look for?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
You can't even get your fucking hands in the box because they're so goddamn tight. What am I going to do here?
Right. It's almost like they shrink wrap the comics and then build the box around it. So it's so tight. And then somehow cut the top of the paper, the plastic off.
Seriously,
it's like, dude,
they
really?
Gotta sweep the floors too. They have to sweep the floors.
At least once a month.
Please,
I mean, come on.
Once a decade, maybe.
Yeah, they're dusty. They're musty.
Somebody go and steal that robot out of Walmart. The stand-up Zumba or whatever the hell it is.
For real. Well, Sons of Sekhmat, hopefully in a month or two, we'll have something like that set up for everyone here. And my goal, I'm working on now trying to get a retailer account where we can get them to everybody a little cheaper than everywhere else.
Yeah.
Anyways, Sun Segment also says, excited for the Legion shirts, loving March Madness, and glad Doom has advanced. Well, Sons of Segment, sorry, you just found out that he is no longer advanced. He's home with you. So anyways, Josh Strickland, another intern, shout out, dude. Let's fucking go with the intern swag, yes. Gonna grow my own pythons to get the sleeves right this time. Yeah, good job. You got another week, bro. I go to comic book stores to find X-Men #1. It's the only X-Men comic I don't have. The only X-Men comic you don't have? Holy shit, dude. You must have a fucking hell of a collection.
Right.
You send us a photo, we'll throw it up on you, let everybody see, and maybe we'll come steal. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, give us your address. We come to your bookstore.
We'll do the show at your house,
right.
Josh.
I mean,
but that's awesome,
a bookstore.
Dude.
I mean, wow, that's a lot.
Well, Sons of Sekhmet said that there's a shop half a mile from his house, so let us know if we need a specific issue. Well, hey, why don't you see if they have X-Men 1 for my boy Josh?
Yeah,
here, right. Work together. He says that I'm afraid I'm going to go bankrupt finding it, most likely. I also go for first appearances. I just got the first. It wasn't the first appearance, but it was a #1 issue of Spider-Man when Todd McFarlane took over. You know that iconic cover?
Yes.
Yeah, I bought that for $25 fucking bucks the other day at Sarge's. But
I have a few of those.
Yeah.
You know, one of them I found at Sarge's. It was signed by Todd McFarlane.
Really?
They just didn't know because he signed it in silver pen or whatever.
No
now
shit.
it doesn't have like an authentic certificate or whatever, but it's real.
You know it's real.
It's real enough.
I don't doubt you. He says that I recently found Brother Voodoo a couple months ago. You talked about him. Was that your last week's Hidden Gem, right? Yep. So he found one of his. Akeem Manor says, I'm back. I finally saw the new Cat movie, so I can continue watching you guys. So he's been off because he hasn't watched it yet. I agree they shouldn't have revealed the Red Hulk. I definitely think it would hit different. Yep. Let's see. He also says that's why he tries to avoid trailers. I mean, that's the other thing, too. It's like if it bothers you that much, then who is anyone forcing you to watch the fucking trailer?
Right.
Like, I say it would have been cool for it not to be spoiled, but I know watching the trailer, I'm going to see some shit. But I'm okay with that. Like, if it's a good story, I don't really care, dude.
Yeah.
You know? It's like, you know, once you've seen it now, you've seen it. So on repeat viewings, you know it's coming. It's okay. Right. It is what it is. But welcome back, Akeem. He said, remember this fella here, Adrian? It was too big to be called a sword. So I heard that's what they say. That's a code word at Diddy's parties to get in. You know, that's like the password. Anyways, hey guys, it's that guy with the long ass name. Oh, we know. Haven't commented in a while. I'm going to be a first-time dad. Oh shit! Well, congratulations, dude. Yeah, I've been so busy. You're going to be even busier. They're going to take over your whole life for at least 18 years. So have fun. You just watched 6 episodes back to back. We need more people like that. Y'all watch 6. Now watch 7. The theme of March Madness and Versus. Who do you think would win a fight between the original MCU Avengers and the Snyderverse Justice League? Okay. To make things interesting, it is Black Suit Superman and Smart Hulk before he fucked his arm. So pre-snap Hulk, but not Savage Hulk. Much love from England. Okay, so MCU Avengers, right? Smart Hulk, not real Hulk. Right. So bitch-ass Hulk. And then Justice League, but here's the caveat, it's Black Suit Superman. Who's winning that? From what we've seen on screen.
I go with Justice League.
Justice League?
Yeah.
How about you, Chris?
Yeah.
Think so?
Yeah,
they got
probably.
the edge.
Yeah,
unfortunately. It pains me to have to agree with you guys here.
Yeah. Because Superman alone,
especially Black Suit Superman. Yeah.
we talked about speed, right?
Yeah.
The ability to move in space, to start and stop imperceptibly.
Yep.
That's a huge, huge thing.
Right.
Add that with super strength.
Correct.
Because moving that fast alone enhances strength because the impact strength of moving that fast. But then when you actually have strength to back it up, it's a game changer.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I agree. And then you got neutered Hulk, so he ain't doing shit. He might as well just go home.
Well, just knock him out. Even if he can be a challenge, just swat him out the way.
Right.
Knock him into space. Right. You have to clap back to get back. But by the time you do that, you can have erased everybody else.
Sure.
Then you just focus on the one.
Yep.
And then we forgetting Wonder Woman.
True.
She's badass by herself. You know.
And Batman's going to tee off on your boy Tony Stark. So there's that, you know. Hey, it is what it is. All right, they get one. Justice League gets one. Rider Fan 04. Hey, guys, great episode. As always, had a segment idea. Not sure if you've ever done it. I was seeing if you guys could rank your top 10 comic stories of all time, Marvel, DC, or whatever. He lists some God Loves, Man Kills, Devil's Reign. He almost has my list here. Regarding the comic question, I hit up comic stores where I live either once or twice a week to check out if they have, be able to pick up new comic graphic novels to flip through, see if I might like it. My favorite day of the week will always be Wednesday, new comic book day. I have 7, 8 comics that I pick up throughout the month. So he's a collector. You're going in there every single week. Now, top 10, I'm not going to rank these. It's kind of off the cuff, but I have a hard time putting anything in front of The Long Halloween. I mean, that's one of my all-time favorites. I really like the 2015 Secret Wars. Hush is another one. Batman. Mine's going to be a lot of Batman. Year one. I mean, God Loves Man Kills is a great one. Old Man Logan's a great one. Court of Owls is really good. And Devil's Reign. So I was kind of all over the place, but those are mine. Anything that your favorites that I didn't mention?
I haven't picked up, a comic like that. Only time I pick up a comic really is when we read them here. Yeah. Most of the stuff that I talk about or discuss or explain is really from memory.
Gotcha.
With a little research, but
what about the ones we've read here?
I'll agree with your list. The Killing Joke.
The Killing Joke's phenomenal.
Hush, things like that. Mostly Batman shit because
I'm forcing it.
Exactly.
Yeah. What about you, Chris?
Much the same list. No particular order, but Court of Owls is definitely up there.
Yep.
Court of Owls and some of the new stuff that came out recently too. There's Absolute Batman's pretty good.
You read that? I haven't read. I have all of them, but I haven't read it yet.
Yeah. Now is it going to be up there in my top 10? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's very good. It's a fresh take.
Yeah. Gotcha. You see, they're coming out with Hush too.
Yes, I did.
And it's Jeff Loeb and Jim Lee.
Yes, I did.
It drops I think in about a week or so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm interested in that.
I'm interested.
I hope it's at the because I love Hush. A lot of people like Hush is kind of mixed reviews.
It's changed over time.
Yeah.
It used to be the greatest comic book ever, and now people are like on the end where they're like, "Oh, it's overhyped."
Yeah, like how, dude? How many characters they juggled in that?
It's very, very good. Yeah,
It's
aged super well too. I think it's a great introduction to modern Batman for people.
Right,
which is where a lot of people use it as like a jumping off point. It's a fantastic.
Oh, absolutely! If you've never read a Batman comic, that's the best one of the best ones to start with.
Yep.
Because you get a little bit of everything. Yes. Batman's already established. You got the Bat family, but it's true to who the character is.
Right.
And Jim Lee's art, dude. I mean, some of my favorite Jim Lee art is from that series.
You know what I put up there too in my top 10 would be Batman White Knight.
Oh, that's a good one.
That one's really good. Yeah.
Jay Shot It says, Mike and Adrian, my dogs appreciate the shout out. Of course, just finished a new Daredevil episode. Damn, was it good? What do you guys think about White Tiger's death? We discussed that possibility of Ava, his sister, taking the mantle. I think that happens in the comics, actually. I think Ava is also. So I do think we'll see that. And these police got to go. My boy Frank about to take care of that. Yo, Frank is going to come back and fuck some shit up. I agree.
Assuming that was Frank that killed White Tiger, though.
Yeah.
Well, you're talking about two separate things, though. Okay.
I'm saying the real Frank's going to come back and fuck shit up when he finds out about them using his little logo and killing dressed as him. He says, also, don't forget when you're around Mass, Way, Hall of Comics, in Westboro. He says, March Madness winner, Scarlet Witch. You might be right, Jay Shot It. Chillmonger, I love how Adrian doesn't miss a chance to say, bring back T'Challa. Yes. He's talking about the concept art, which we now learn may not be real, but the file was named T'Chanda before the artist deleted it. So it actually could have been a different Black Panther in general, not just a different T'Challa variant.
Right.
So who knows? Or maybe maybe it was a typo. Let's go with that.
Or that.
Yeah. Bullseye Bubba, our boy Bullseye. This guy used to get on through his wife's account. It was like, it's Britney, bitch. And we're like, who the fuck is this? And he's like, dude, I only have a YouTube to watch you guys. I use my wife's. So he started his own, Bullseye Bubba. Another great time, Mike and Adrian. These early morning drives on Tuesday are easy with y'all. I don't know if Adrian has done these as a hidden gem, but I would suggest a few. Cassandra Cain, Lady Shiva, Karate Kid, and Bronze Tiger, and Val Zod. There's a handful there. So Chewy says, I don't think he's dead. Oh, he's talking about Foggy. I hope he is. I hope it's not one of those.
You don't like the actor anyway. So
I don't, dude.
Really.
No.
I mean, the whole spin about, let's appease the crowd and bring Foggy and Karen back
for like 4 minutes.
Then kill Foggy in the first episode and get rid of Karen in the second one.
Yeah.
It's like, you wanted to get rid of those two to begin with.
Correct.
You should have just kept them out. Right.
Yep.
But don't do something shitty like that.
No.
But I think he's dead.
Yeah, I think and I hope so. If he essays back, he says the way Mike casually worked in the Fisk accent when he says Vanessa was hilarious. Dude, he's a simp over this chick. Like, everything for Vanessa.
And she's doing, I mean...
She's doing someone that ain't him.
Yeah, exactly. And she's just backpedaling. So she's so engorged in this mob power that she got now. It's like, she almost looks at him like he ain't shit.
Right.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's fucked up. He says, you guys are still comedy gold. I fell off for a little bit, missed a few episodes. Forgive me, Uncle Mike and Adrian. Do you forgive Iffy here?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
He says, but what's the saying? And you've said this before, all roads lead to only comics.
That's
yes. Right. Anyway, Mike's still yapping, so I'm going to still be watching. Well, bro, I'm going to keep fucking yapping. That's what I do, Chris. That's my superpower, a yapper. Pure Venom, he's an intern. Shout out. Mike and Adrian, another great pod. Again, can't wait till you guys start recommending more comics. Oh, it's coming. Thanks to y'all, my comic knowledge has expanded. Can't wait for more. Versus idea, Adrian's hidden gem versus. Any of Adrian's hidden gems going up against each other? Let me know what y'all think.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good idea for
I got
when
two
this
right off the
tournament's
top.
up. Yeah,
but I got to get through.
Already?
I got to get through today first.
Oh, today and someone else's. But dude, we could go back to some of the past ones you've had. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And that's a great idea. Maybe once March Madness wraps up, we'll revisit some of your gems in the verses. Trey seen it too, says, I watch a lot of death battles. It's a channel on YouTube with over 6 million subs. They do matchup heroes, blah, blah, blah. They're very informative, intelligent. I feel like Ghost Rider wasn't given a fair chance in your guys' matchup. He should have a rematch, not a coin flip. They show Spawn more powerful, and he's kind of like saying we should change our verses to match these other guys. You know what I'm not going to fucking do, Adrian? Change our shit to match anybody else's. So,
but let me see. Neither one of them is in the match right now.
It don't matter.
So it doesn't matter.
And the whole thing, Trey, the whole like idea of this show, Chris, is a lot of it's done tongue in cheek.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not meant to be that fucking serious. Right, yeah. People take shit way too serious. You're meant to just kick your shoes off and have some fun with us.
Right.
Just have a talk.
And it's our opinion.
It's our opinion. So Trey, we still love you, bro.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, I'm not gonna do. Change anything about what we do, and I'm not gonna go check out this fucking account because I don't care. But with respectfully, with all due respect, and Bro Man Williams, the world champ,
with love and honor.
Yeah, with love and honor too. Hey, I mean, if you can't take a joke, do not fucking watch this, and definitely don't comment if you can't take a joke. So. Right. Bro, man, Williams, what's up, Mike and Adrian? I'm sitting here on break enjoying some of this Florida's finest trees. Yes. I usually wait until I watch the whole podcast before I comment, but Mike, what the fuck? First, I find out you've never seen Gladiator. Now I find out you've never seen John Wick movies. No. Wow. Bro, what is going on, my boy? We got to get you up to speed. And my pick is Scarlet Witch all day. Okay.
There you go.
Then he also says, my homeboy bet me $50 that you were Puerto Rican, and I proved you weren't. So even if my pick is wrong, Scarlet Witch, I'm still gonna get my $50 to get a hat and t-shirt. Yeah, yo, bro, man's a man. He comments every week. He missed one week though. Don't miss no more weeks, bro.
That's it.
Pure Venom comments on. He says yes, he has to get up. Yeah, y'all tag teaming now. Gladiator and John Wick. I'm gonna get to it. I promise. You know, I'll force me to do it. We'll review Gladiator on other stuff in a few weeks. All right, we'll do that. So we'll do that. OG Dirte. These are Spotify comments. You got the best comic book podcast. Now down to business. Vin Diesel should worry about his Fast Saga. We don't want no motherfucking group movie. I think him and James Gunn are smoking some bad MacGuffin. Okay. In the comics, Bullseye had adamantium spine. I wonder if they'll mention that in the Daredevil show. That's interesting. We saw the metal spine, right? We don't know.
Wait a minute. Who was this?
Bullseye. Yep. So we saw him repaired at the end of season 3 with metal, which is why he survived the fall off the building.
Yeah, but
we don't know
spine doesn't cover a head injury, though.
No, well, I mean bones in general.
Okay, skeleton. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. But he's saying specifically in the comics he had adamantium spine.
Okay.
So who knows? Maybe
who knows?
He says he got a challenge for both of you. Mike, you got to watch John Wick. Oh, he's another one. Okay. And Adrian, I want you to do a hidden gem on Marvel's Night Thrasher. I'm interested to hear what you think about him. All right. W. Johnson, Marvel Contest of Champions was a solid game. It's just a ton of characters like Blue Marvel, Dr. Voodoo. Main bad was Maestro, the Hulk that killed. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I never played that. Let's see. We got the Hung Solo. Love the show, guys. I'm calling a win on Ghost Rider because of that penance stare. Well, we're past that, dude. Ghost Rider, he's at home staring at himself. Nate, the best podcast would not be the same if Adrian was not on here. Much love to Adrian. No Diddy, though. Doom, I'm fine. Much love to Adrian, of course. C's, it was an actual comic book. Y'all, it was an actual comic book store, not like Newberry Comics, which sounds really like Newberry Collectibles. They should call themselves that.
I like that for them.
It's a good name.
Newberry Collectibles. Yep. And what was the other comic book? C's?
Yes.
That's a cool name for a comic book store, dude.
Yeah. Well, that's his name, his actual name, C's.
Oh, that's his name.
Yes.
Got it.
So C's, if Newberry changes their name, they owe you some money.
There you go.
He said they did have some figures, but 90% comics. I went in because I wanted to read 2015 Secret Wars before the movie released, like a lot of other people. Good job. Bree's son, longtime listener, first-time commenter, was last week saying Ghost Rider would win, and I'm sad to see him go. Yep, too bad. Love the hidden gem and would be dope in Marvel Rivals. Oh, the hidden gem from last week would be dope in the game.
Yeah.
Can you add Khazar to the list? Also, if you ever got free time, Marvel Snap is a really interesting mobile card game. I've actually played a lot of Marvel Snap. It's a lot of fun.
I've heard it's good.
Yeah, it's fun. It's easy to pick up, and I mean, it's one of those games. You don't have to really pay for shit unless you absolutely want to.
Yeah.
But they give you enough to play and have some fun on your own. That was another one that was shut down when TikTok was shut down.
Yeah.
So, all right, moving on. That's We Respond. We appreciate all y'all. Appreciate all the interns. We're gonna wrap with Hidden Gem. Adrian, you've been building this one up, dude.
Yep.
What do we got?
So, there's a lot in this one.
Okay.
So this is one of those characters where you don't really hear about them. They kind of lost, but then they resurrect. Which is cool, which is the whole point of a hidden gem.
Yeah.
A lot of characters that we cover, they were out there, been out there for a long time, and you just never hear from them again, right? But this character, this week's hidden gem is Sentry.
Okay.
So
he's going to be in Thunderbolts.
Yep, coming up in Thunderbolts, so I'm sure we'll see him. So Sentry has always been compared to like Superman, DC Superman. But the more you read into his powers, not like Superman at all. So this is one that kind of pissed me off in a different kind of way, right? So to be a black superhero, you got to have a fucking PhD. You got to come from all this money.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, DaCosta, Sunspot.
Yep.
His family was rich, things like that, right? To be a white superhero, you can be a fucking meth addict, which is what Sentry was, right? You can be the lowest of the lowest.
Damn.
Break in, steal somebody else's shit, right? Recover, write a book, become a fucking millionaire, right? Then you're a superhero.
Sounds like
so.
America.
Literally, this is what happened. This Robert Reynolds guy, right? He was a meth addict, broke into somebody's lab, stole an advanced super soldier serum, which is supposed to be like 100 times more powerful than the super soldier serum. Okay. And that's how he became the Sentry.
Damn.
Ain't that some shit?
Yes.
You literally have to have, the only qualification you have to have is being a human in mobility.
Wow.
That's it. Broke into stole somebody's shit, drank some random shit, right?
Damn.
I mean, some liquid. Let me just drink it, and that's how he became the Sentry.
Wow.
So, I mean, it's like Blue Marvel. This is a PhD. T'Challa, fucking king, right? John Stewart, military background, but then you got Sentry, meth addict. Booster Gold. He was a football player in high school. Started gambling with the games. What do you call it? Throwing the games, right? Got arrested, went to jail. The only job he can get was a night a security guy at a museum. Ended up stealing. This is in like the 30th century. Ended up stealing all this tech, going back in time because he can't make it in the era that he's in. Damn. And he shows up in the 20th century as a superhero, right? I mean, it's like, come on, dude. Just like Ghostbusters. You ever hear about this? So in Ghostbusters, all the white people, they have PhDs, Venkman, blah, blah, blah. But then the black guy shows up on the scene, and he's an extra, right? He was something, blah, 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 blah. And then even when the all-female Ghostbusters.
He's a DEI hire.
Right.
That's what they call that.
In the all-female Ghostbusters, all the white women, they're PhDs. The black woman is a subway worker. Come on. I mean, anyway.
Right.
So this one kind of pissed me off as I was going into. But anyway, back to the hidden gem. So Robert Reynolds, the meth addict, consumed this compound that was supposed to be. They allow him to gain the power of 1 million exploding suns. Now he doesn't go around like there's actually a superhero that explodes and then reanimates himself or whatever. But it's not like that. It's just that what that means is that his power comes from someplace extra dimensionally. It has the power of exploding suns, meaning that it's constantly regenerating. Now he can get his powers. He got his powers, but he can draw power from anything. So the comparison with Superman is, besides being white, right? He can fly, the strength, and he gets his power from another source. Like Superman gets his power from the sun, right? He can get his power from the sun. He can get it from your life force. He can get it from the negative zone, which we talked about that with Annihilus. The only thing with the negative zone is that if he's actually in the negative zone, if he's actually in the negative zone, his powers diminish. However, he has a dark side, like Sue has a dark side, right? What's her face? Hot chick.
Malice.
Malice. Oh, yeah. He has a alternate self called the Void, all right, which is his evil whatever. But he can draw, like Dr. Voodoo, he can draw the Void into himself to increase his strength.
Yep.
Now, if Sentry is physically in the negative zone, even though he can draw power from the negative zone while he's in the positive zone, if he's physically in the negative zone, his powers would diminish where the Void's power would increase. However, if he merges himself with the Void, his powers increase, nothing diminishes, so he's even stronger in the Void. In the negative zone.
Yeah.
So anyway, now this guy's been around. So interestingly enough, he was actually around before the Fantastic Four.
Really?
So they was kind of building him up before the Fantastic Four. So he's had involvements with, like, most of these guys were like everybody, Fantastic Four, Iron Man, the Hulk, Spider-Man, the Avengers, the X-Men, all of these people. Now, Vanessa, we talked about Vanessa with Fisk, right?
Yeah.
So he's got a Vanessa called Lindy. Now, what kind of person goes on record that says, like, I could have stabbed him in his sleep? Which she does, right? She actually shoots him in the face with a laser gun. It's just one of those meth addictions.
Wifey material is what we call that, Chris. Yeah.
So he married. That was the love of his life, Lindy. So she's involved in all of his stuff. She finds out about him being this Sentry, this superhero. She gets off on it because she figures she's going to use him to meet all these other superheroes. Yep. Even though she found out he was a meth addict, she kept that to herself because she thought that would affect her ability to mingle with all these. She wanted to be a socialite, basically, right?
Vanessa.
So that's his version of Vanessa. So this Void came out as a response to him actually having these superpowers. So it's like a negative dark side of him, which he teamed up with Reed Richards to kind of subvert. So that's one of his things, right? But now he can do a lot of stuff, and I'm just going to jump right into his powers because it's fucking exhausting, dude. We talk about Franklin Richards' exhausting list of powers. So basically, when you think Franklin Richards, just talk about what he can't do. Yeah. It's far shorter than what he can do. Yep. This is why the Sentry is nothing like Superman whatsoever, right? So he has a chemically enhanced physiology. Like I said, he can draw power from pretty much everything. There's no upper limit to his strength. Molecular kinesis. So he has the power, the ability to alter matter and energy. Well, let me start with his Superman powers, right? He's got the speed, which there's no limit to. He has the strength, which there appears to be no limit to. He can draw power to enhance his strength or just, conjure up the Void, his doppelganger or whatever, how you want to call it, to increase his strength. The metabolism, the indestructibility, the blah, 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 blah. So he's got all of those Superman powers plus all this other shit I'm going to name. So he can manipulate matter and energy. He can build various constructs like the Green Lanterns, except he don't need a ring to do it. Yeah. Biokinesis, ability to affect biophysical phenomenon. Resurrection, he can resurrect himself from the fucking dead if he want to. Well, not if he want to. He basically can't be killed. I had another hidden gem that did that too. That person could not be killed. I got to remember who that is. But anyway, just automatic delete, and he just undeletes himself, kind of like thing. Because of that, he has retroactive immortality. So he's immune to aging, so he doesn't age. He's immune to aging and dying. Regenerative healing factor. So if he does sustain, which is going to be incredibly hard to do, if he does sustain any kind of any kind of harm, he can regenerate himself or heal himself. Then of course he's got the strength. Now they classify him as one of the strongest beings in the universe. Some of his feats. This is the one that flew Carnage up into space and ripped him in half. I said Venom, but it's actually Carnage. Terex, the Tamer. So Terex, if you don't know, he was one of Galactus's heralds, which he has the power. So basically, he has the power cosmic within him, so he can fly around space. Terex decided because he had a mutant ability. It's not called a mutant ability on his planet, but Terex had a mutant ability to manipulate Earth, ground, dirt, things like that. So he would traditionally fly around on a piece of asteroid as his means of mobility, even though he didn't need to. But he had this awesome axe that he would channel his cosmic energy through. Sentry just grabbed this shit and crushed it in his hand. Let me see what else. He can just swat aside, for example, a cruise liner. I mean, that shouldn't have even been in here. So the absorbing man is he can absorb the power of other superpower beings. The Sentry's power is so great that he can overload the absorbing man's ability to absorb his power, kind of a deal. He can break the Hulk's limbs with relatively ease, right? And kill Ares by ripping him in half, which that's not really a big thing because Wonder Woman also kicked Ares' ass. Now, what a lot of people don't understand about Ares, he's not just the god of war. He also can control the dead. So when Wonder Woman killed Ares, she also took over the ability to control the dead, which she doesn't really use. But anyway, so we got, like I said, the speed, the agility, the senses, the stamina, the nigh invulnerability. He doesn't need to eat or shit. Fly incredible distances, teleportation. Well, when you don't need to fly, you just fucking teleport, right? There you go. Energy absorption and manipulation. He can pull energy from anywhere and everywhere, including the microverse and the negative zone. Power sharing. Chris, you don't have enough power or you don't have any power? Guess what? I just give you a little bit. Right?
Upload some.
Exactly. Photokinesis, light projection. Call me another one. He's like a Black Widow. The Hulk. Instead of beating Hulk's ass, if you don't feel like, you just calm him down.
The sun's getting a little low, buddy. Sun, exactly. Go. Give me that hand. Let me tickle your hand a little bit until you're done.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
It's not weird at all, right? Yeah, right. Mid-battle. Invisibility,
right? He can turn invisible. Of course, energy blast. He can project energy from him. What do you call it? Brachinesis. That's basically merging himself with the void. Okay. So when he merges himself with the void, he doubles his power pretty much, right? Now, psionic abilities. He has, powerful psychic and mental powers mainly used for keeping objects from. So basically, you see Superman lift up a cruise ship, right, in the middle. Mm-hmm. Well, it's not designed to do that. When a ship is in the water, the weight is displaced across the entire hull, so it doesn't crack on its own weight. Then when you see a superhero lift something out of the water that's 1,000 fucking feet, the first thing that should happen is it should snap in half, or he should go through it. Well, what this does is his psionic abilities, and I'm assuming that everybody that can do that, Superman, Blue Marvel, these people that can lift these massive weights without them falling. A building is falling over and Superman goes up to it. He's got his hands on 3 bricks, but he pushes the whole building back. Right. I'm assuming that there's this psionic ability to maintain the integrity of the structure that he's dealing with. And that's what they're talking about. Yeah. When he moves objects, when he holds up objects, they don't snap in half or break because he's unconsciously holding all these things together. So there's that.
Got it.
And of course, he has genius level intellect.
Of course he does.
Of course he has genius level.
Genius
intellect.
level meth head.
Right.
Yes, they're
Exactly.
all over the place, Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You might pass like 10 of them on your way home.
Yeah, they're out there.
Oh, yeah. We should recruit one to be an
Doing
intern
tasks.
here.
No, we're not. Of course, weaknesses, antimatter. Like I said, if he's in the negative zone, he becomes weaker.
Yeah.
Psychic assault, so he's susceptible to various psychic assaults. Lack of control. Another one of those, he's got so much power, like Wanda, they fucking go off, and that's that.
Damn.
Vulnerability to Chai. So the spiritual energy base attack, he's susceptible to that.
Yep.
Chai.
Chai.
Chai is something you eat,
Chai's
right?
tea, yeah.
Has a T.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Chi, he's susceptible to that.
You gotta be clear because someone shows up to the battle with a lot of chai.
Latte or something.
Yeah, you're like, I'm gonna throw this on you. He's
Dude,
like,
you're
what
screwed.
the fuck are you doing, bro? Yeah, you're dead.
screwed.
So,
Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
Yeah. So if you're gonna fight him, bring chi, not chai. Yes.
There you go.
All right.
So now I wrote this note in here about Scarlet Witch, right?
Yeah.
And I was thinking that if the Scarlet Witch ever went up against Sentry, versus,
Yep.
who would win, right? So, and kind of like I explained earlier, so there's different types of, even though he has some psionic ability, Sentry's power, because what they said was, when Wanda went apeshit, what she did, if Sentry went apeshit, it would be like 10 times as bad.
Really?
Right? But I'm thinking, Sentry's power is more brute force based, right? If he went apeshit, he would destroy a lot of stuff, and there would be people around to see the destruction. And I think that's what they're basing it on. If Wanda went apeshit, there wouldn't be anybody around to remember it. She
Right.
would just
Yeah.
alter, change, or wipe out reality.
Yeah.
So if Scarlet Witch ever comes up against Sentry, it's going to be Scarlet Witch.
wrap,
It's a completely different rap. But anyway, that's the long and short of it. This dude is nothing like Superman at all, right?
Got it.
He has so much more power. He's literally like pretty much the strong, but they always say that. The strongest person in the universe, multiverse, whatever, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Obviously they are not going to be able to represent all this stuff in Thunderbolts.
No.
They'll introduce him, I think. Now I understand why he's like this little puny guy in Thunderbolts. I mean, meth head and all that.
Right.
That becomes this other all these other powers and stuff. So, and I also understand how if they were going to cast the guy who's the voice of Invincible, the guy got his head bashed in on The Walking Dead. Young.
Oh yeah, Stephen Young. Yeah.
They were going to cast. I'm like, how do you? Because I'm thinking a Superman kind of guy.
Right.
Stephen Young, he's like a puny little guy, right? But now I kind of understand. But anyway, very overpowered person.
Yeah.
And like I said, I went on an emotional roller coaster reading about this because of all the things I mentioned.
I get it, dude.
But anyway, Sentry.
Oh, that was awesome. And Thunderbolts drops May 2nd. So we're, a couple months out from that. Have you seen any of these trailers yet,
No.
Chris?
No.
It actually looks pretty damn good.
Cool.
Yeah.
And they've done a good job of only giving us bits and pieces of Sentry in the trailer.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, we have not seen a dead full shot of him in the costume. We've seen kind of like his back turn. Right. We do see him rip Winter Soldier or Bucky's arm right out of its socket while he's on the ground. Like, literally giving the business to the whole Thunderbolts crew.
Right.
And then we see this almost shadow-like figure of him, which seems to be the Void, right?
Yeah, I think when you said, like, when you see these, like, outlines of people.
Oh, yeah,
Because I saw somebody was, like, doing this.
Yeah.
And it was, like, these outlines, a person would turn into, like, a
1 minute you're
spot.
there, then you're just a shadow.
Right.
Yeah. So that must be him in the Void.
Probably.
Yeah. So it seems like, and then you got, like, literally a handful of ragtag The fat dude has the super soldier serum, right? Captain Britain or the Red Guardian.
Red Guardian.
But he's old and like out of shape. So
yeah,
he ain't like Cap running around with the serum.
Not at all.
And the rest of them are pretty much human, right? You got Taskmaster who's not, and Ghost does some phasing, but it ain't the top upper echelon of characters going up against Sentry.
Well, you know, like I started out with, you don't need to be much to be a superhero.
True. That's true. So, well, there you have it. Another 5-star presentation of Hidden Gem, Adrian. Thank you. Chris, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you guys. Thank you so much.
It was great. So go to chrisboyle.art, support my man. He's got The First Night, great comic. He's got Aldo, the book that is dropping this week. And we had a little long-winded episode here. We appreciate y'all bearing with us. And we're not going to charge you any extra for that. You'll get all this for free. That's how we do it. So, Adrian, thanks for coming out.
Absolutely.
Chris, thanks for joining us. Guys, thanks for watching. Subscribe. Go to onlycomicsmerch.com. You get this amazing hat and shirt that Adrian's rocking over here. And very soon, you're going to have the ability to buy some Legion of Intern shirts, which we got 2 designs. I think y'all are going to love them. And next week, we got the 8, so I guess the Elite 8 of the March Madness tournament. Then we'll have the Final 4, and we'll be crowning a champion really soon. So, guys, you know where to find us right here on Only Comics every week. Subscribe, share this, join us every week, and go join the Legion of Interns so you can get other stuff. And that's where we talk about most of the other stuff and a little bit of comics.
There you go.
All right, we'll see you next week right here on Only Comics.